I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot.
You just killed a fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
You're happy because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. You're happy because you got nothing. Got nothing.
I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA boxing.
Welcome everybody to the Boxing Podcast, broadcasting to you live from the True North. This is your friend Mr. BDA, and alongside with me as always, my co-host, the one, the only King, Bucho. King, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Now, fellas, we got a good one for everybody here this evening. The whole Wilder Fury saga. I know we've held back our comments since this whole debacle continues on. It's a train that's on fire, and it seems like the ride is only gonna get bumpier. But before we get to that, fellas, let's get the business out of the way. Fellas, if you want to keep the gravy train rolling, you know what to do. You can donate with the super chat during the show, or you can go to the BDA PayPal or Patreon page and donate over there. Any small amount helps. We're not asking for 10 buckaroos or 20. $2, $5, everybody pitches in. We can make big things happen, make boxing great again. But of course, the most important thing is that you continue to listen to the show, continue to support it, and continue to like the show and subscribe if you haven't done so already. May I also suggest that you spread the BDA gospel to the uninitiated. That would really help everybody out. And speaking of helping people out, can't forget everybody in the chat room right now. We got Jim McDonald, Wayne Hennessy, One Foot Out the Door, B-Space, Saint Brit, shout out to Saint Brit, SSB28, Elias Tufexis, Mar the Machine, Elvis ECL, Official Scorecard Boxing, shout out to Official, Junior, Jay Perez, Padja, Ignorant Boxing, and many more to come, I'm sure. Fellas, thank you for joining us. Ooh-wee. Well, let's get started, Bucho. You want to help us out here, or start us off with the whole...
First, let's invite some people as well.
Oh, yes, of course, yes. Well, while I do that, feel free to comment. I think most people already know what's going on. For in case somebody doesn't know what's going on with the whole Wilder Breland situation.
First, let me just read some super chats.
Yes.
Super chats. We have One Foot Out the Door says, "Take my money." All right, we will. Thank you very much. One Foot Out the Door. He's always posting comments on the channel.
Absolutely.
Good job. And good comments, by the way, not just retarded comments. There's some people that I don't even want to address, but they are clearly insane. And I can tell you that they show up on that video that I posted yesterday called LDBC versus Mark Breland. Funniest comments. You guys go check that video out. Have a good laugh. Lose some hope in humanity. I mean, some of these comments are just out of control.
I know, man.
They don't make sense. These people are crazy. They flip-flop. Breland comes out defending his name, right? Because Wilder called him... Well, basically, Wilder is accusing him of cheating. Well, not cheating, but of tampering with his water, which is a big accusation. And so Breland comes out finally, and he gives his take on the whole situation. And what happens? LDBC fans get angry. They get angry at Mark Breland. Why is he coming out talking about this? Why is he saying this? Oh, he's jealous of Deontay Wilder. Are you guys out of your fucking mind? Who started this whole fucking thing? It was Deontay Wilder. Wilder started the whole thing by saying that Mark Breland spiked his water. So what is Mark Breland supposed to say to that? Nothing? This is what we're dealing with.
You know what, Bucho? let me read you a couple of snippets here from the response of Wilder, because we're gonna get to what Breland said, but just real quick, we gotta address what Wilder is saying as well. He came out over to the 78 Sports and he said, "So many people know me. My character speaks for itself. If you're looking at tapes or whatever, you don't." Ah, no, sorry, that's Breland. Okay, so Wilder is saying that people think that I outgrew him. So in other words, he's trying to intimate, and later on he says it outright, that Breland was jealous of him. And he says that people wanted him to fire Breland, but that he always kept him in there out of loyalty. And then he says, what the fuck did I do for him to throw me under the bus? That's what Wilder is asking. He says, what did I do to deserve this type of backlash from Mark Breland? Well, how about this little clip here? I think people already forgot about it, but from October.
To throw the towel in just to stop me.
Let's repeat that.
Bucket referee and a disloyal trainer to throw the towel in just to stop me. It took a crab in a bucket referee and a disloyal trainer to throw the towel in just to stop me.
So he calls the guy disloyal, and then he has the gold.
Proverbs chapter 30, 31st says.
Hold on a second, jeez.
Excuses may be found.
I can't mute this. It's a nightmare. Yeah. So he throws the guy under the bus, calls him a disloyal trainer, citing him as a reason and excuse for why he lost. And then he comes in with this interview from a couple of days ago, and he says, what the fuck did I do? He knows I look out for people, something deeply embedded in him. For him, there must be something deeply embedded in him for him to feel some kind of way. Oh, and here's the other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the beginning of this article, they go, over the weekend, Breland clapped back at the former heavyweight champion. Clapped back. So they're using, that's like street lingo or something, and they're starting to use it now in articles. Do you imagine Forbes magazine? They go, oh yeah, Bernie Madoff clapped back at Wall Street, blah blah blah. I mean, it's a little ridiculous. Man.
Hell yeah! It's by boxing.
Yeah, it's boxing. I know, but I mean, pretty soon I'm gonna expect them to start using the N-word freely during their articles or something. I mean it's
getting to that point, man.
But anyway, look. So with Wilder, he's saying, well, what did I do to deserve this? I mean, Butcho, can I tell you something? When this whole thing started happening, he started coming out with these outlandish excuses. Especially when he actually embraced the excuses made by his demographic and his fan base. I started feeling sorry for the guy. I said, man, he must be in the dark place to be swirling with these thoughts and having to come out with these excuses. But now that he's throwing Breland under the bus and then acting indignant about, whoa, how come he's biting back? It's like, I think whatever little respect, sympathy I should say I had for the guy, I don't care about it. He's a millionaire. I'm feeling bad about a millionaire for acting like an idiot. Enough is enough, Butcher. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the feeling sympathy for the guy?
It's been enough for almost a year. Like in a few, what is it? On February 22nd, it's gonna be the 1 year anniversary of Wilder getting destroyed and embarrassed, and the excuses keep on coming. Now these Wilder fanatics are coming with this. Conjecture, basically, this came out about the Irish Mafia, this article, whatever, and they're friends with Fury or something like that. All of a sudden, that has something to do with a floppy glove. There's a connection there with a floppy glove, and when with Breland spiking Wilder's water. It doesn't make any sense. There will always be excuses. It seems like it's never going to end. But it's great for me because I can create a lot of content.
You're feeding off the pain.
And you know what? Some people go like, "Oh, you have to talk about Wilder to have some content." Oh, because Wilder's so popular. I'm like, no, he's funny. He's a funny guy. I gotta give it to him. It's pretty funny, and I enjoy it sometimes making this content. I mean, it's annoying to get the content because I gotta go and to these LDBC channels and get some content, which is pretty annoying.
Mm-hmm.
But once I get the content, I mean, it's fantastic, man. I create these comedic videos and I bring joy to a lot of people, but they get a good laugh.
I actually think you're causing more chaos to the world, but you know what? Different views, I suppose. I don't know. Look, listen, I've been working, we're working on a little project there, and I'm rewatching Wilder clips and some of his fans clips, what they had to say about the guy. I don't know how you do it, man. By the way, shout out to recognized the Matrix for his generous contribution, and he says, "Salute to the BDA family. Recognized, thanks a lot, man. Really appreciate it." And
My nigga.
there you go. Shout out to Recognize the Matrix. Oh, and shout out to TFM Boxing, we just donated as well. He says, shout out to JD's, took a no-talent basketball player to the world title. One of the greatest trainers ever. Well, I mean, you gotta do sort of hand it to the weakness of the heavyweight division as well. I mean, for a guy that supposedly doesn't skip rope, doesn't hit many of the bags, and really thinks he's got it all figured out, he certainly made a name for himself. Don't forget those 2 legendary wins over the dangerous Luis Ortiz. So shout out to TFM Boxing for that. Bucho, I see we've got Stu on the line. Stu, are you there? Stu.
Yeah, I'm here, boys. What's up?
How you doing, man? Listen, we're talking about, people have been waiting for us to address the whole Wilder Breland thing. It's still ongoing. It's never ending. So I'm pretty sure you've read about it or heard about it. Well, what are your thoughts on this? And how far can we go into this rabbit hole? It just seems to never stop.
Mate, I'd love to stick a weasel in that rabbit hole, to be honest with you. Because it's just tiring, isn't it? Same old nonsense. Grown-ass men moaning about a fight that happened a year ago. Listen, if Tyson Fury lost that fight and all these things happened to him, I'd have had a little moan and I'd have forgot about it, because life goes on. I've got far too much going on in my life to worry about Wilder's zero. You know what I mean? It's just these fucking people. But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, look, Mark Breland, yeah, I should think he is jealous of Wilder, because if he's looking at someone with so little talent and has made so much money, I'd be jealous and all.
Oh,
I mean, come on, man.
Well, the thing that I don't get, though, is Wilder, he threw him under the bus. He said, he called him a disloyal trainer in that video that he did, that bizarre video he did back in October of last year. And he's saying, well, I don't understand why Breland is throwing me under the bus. And I'm thinking, is Wilder that deluded? Is he suffering from CTE or something? I mean, what's going on here? I can't wrap my...
Could you imagine? I accuse you, Mr. BDA, of doing something completely illegal, and then I'm shocked if you say something back.
I mean, it's that generally that's what happens. You open up. That's what I don't like about a lot of these street fellas when they go, well, if you go say something to somebody, you better be prepared to have that person step to you. In other words, I've heard people say that or justify assault because somebody said something to them the wrong way. Now all of a sudden, Wilder throws Breland under the bus. Breland answers back. And all of a sudden, Breland's the bad guy. How dare he? I mean, you can't have it both ways. Either you justify assault because somebody said something to you over the internet, or you keep your mouth shut and you admit that everybody should have the right to say whatever they want. Including me, by the way. But, man, this is insane. And let's just go real quick here to see what Breland said. Because this all started or restarted because Breland was on a podcast show. I forget the name. I think he went on 2 shows. And he finally, somebody posted on the Discord too. He went on to his own Instagram and he started writing a whole essay about what happened. He says, I'm not going to read all of it, just a couple of highlights here where he says, I'm going to add a couple of pics. One of a quote from the Daily News reporter. He says, he calls himself the self-reserved Mr. Breland. So he says, look, listen, I don't want to do this, but I got no choice. He says that he didn't want to talk about Deontay Wilder in that interview, but that they eventually brought it up and he had enough of what Wilder was saying and the accusations. He finally answered back or clapped back, as they said on the Boxing Scene article. He says, I stand by my words and my skill set in the boxing IQ. Oh, because he said he could have beaten all of Wilder's opponents. The facts are that my time in the coach position with the Bronze Bomber changed drastically in the 12 years since. So essentially, he goes on to say that JD's was the mastermind and that he had to run everything through JD's. Every little change, every little thing he wanted to suggest, it had to go to JD's first. He says that Deontay Wilder started falling in love with his power. He started thinking that he knew better than everybody else. We had to be quiet on certain days in order to avoid Wilder's wrath, and so on and so forth. He says he's had enough of this. And guys, I can't blame the guy. I mean, Wilder started saying, and his fans actually, and then he jumped on it, saying, "Well, look, there were oh shit, hold on a second. Yeah, the egg weights, the lights, the spiked drink, the floppy gloves, Mark Breland undercover Cronkite. I mean, it's everything essentially." Because they couldn't believe that Wilder could lose. Therefore, he had to have all of this cheating had to have occurred, right, Bucho?
Breland came out and he said that the guy Deontay Wilder doesn't train. All right. He didn't even want to learn how to jab because he believed so much in his power, which makes complete sense. And by the way, I was debating with some guy in the chat and he was telling me that Breland is supposed to be the one to blame because he failed as a coach because he wasn't able to teach Wilder anything. And I was like, no, you're getting it completely wrong. Like, Wilder's the one that's supposed to be. This is the thing with some of these people. It's always somebody else's fault for everything, right? It's never Wilder's fault. Now it's Mama's problem here. Mike Breland's mama, the mama here. It's not. It's your problem. It's Wilder's problem. See, he didn't want to learn anything. Are you telling me Wilder never realized that his footwork is garbage? If he never realized that, then he's a fucking retard.
Do you think he's that deluded?
Know that they need to improve. The best fighters know where to improve all the time. They don't need a trainer to tell them everything. Yes, a trainer is there to give you some pointers and stuff like that. But it's also your job to rewatch your fights and look at. You telling me Wilder watched his fights and never saw anything wrong with his technique? And are you out of your fucking minds, people?
I completely agree with you, Bucho. I mean, he couldn't have been that. He couldn't have been that brainwashed, thinking that he was doing everything right. And the other thing, I suspect he knew he had a lot of chinks in his armor, but nevertheless, he believed his power was going to bail him out. Because I was rewatching some clips of the build up to the rematch, and indeed, he was talking about how I'm going to knock you out, Fury, Big Mama, I'm going to knock you out. And I'm thinking, all right, that's, and his fans said the same thing. His fans would say, Fury has to be perfect for 12 rounds. Wilder only has to be perfect for 2 seconds. And I'm thinking, all right, well, that's, the big punch. That was the big hope. By the way, fellas, the phone lines are open. So if you want to call in, let us know. I see we got Recognize who just jumped in. Recognize, are you there?
Saludos.
Thank you for the contribution, man. Really appreciate it. And really keeps the gravy train rolling. Really appreciate it. Look, we're talking about Wilder and the Mark Breland situation. Like I was telling Stu and Butch, like, this story never seems to end. What are your thoughts on it? Like, anything clicked on you? Does it just confirm that Wilder is that insane, or what's going on here?
Yes. Wilder is that insane. Look, these people, I mean, how many times am I going to say these people are crazy, bro? Look, you like my profile pic? That's the king of white supremacy I got on there.
Who is it?
His name is Tom Brady. All right. Tom Brady got attacked for being so every win he makes, right? Every time he wins a Super Bowl, he gets accused of being a white supremacist. Yeah, look, this is a little racial, but I'm gonna get to the point of Wilder fans, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So they accuse this man of being a white supremacist. Mind you, most of the best skill players on his team and throughout the NFL, they're black. They happen to be black. If you go to any great team and you go on football and you look at the most skilled position, you will see a black face or a brown face or mulatto, whatever the fuck, right? That's what you're going to see. And they all love Tom Brady. They all love him. Right? They all have nothing but nice things to say about him, but yet he still gets accused of being a white supremacist. So let me get to Wilder, right? Because these fans are in the same mindset. They have the same ideology. And I was listening to Punch Drunk yesterday. He had a bunch of these dudes on, these Wilder fans. I think even what's the guy's name again? I got proof. I got undisputed.
Oh, he was on
evidence.
there?
Oh, yeah, what's my boy's name?
Tay Jones, I
think.
His
name? Tay Jones. There you go. Yeah. Tay Jones. And I'm listening to these dudes, and they're not saying anything. There is nothing. Tay Jones is like, it's up to Wilder if you want to come out with it. You know what I'm saying? That's up to Wilder, like, so you don't got no evidence is what you're saying, right? Like, Punch Drunk is probably being nice to the guy. You know what I'm saying? He's probably being a little nice to him, and not, probably what he probably should have said was like, dude, you're saying the same shit that you said since the beginning, right? But basically that's what he was doing. He was not saying anything different. It's just the same nonsense. Now there's all these new accusations. Tyson Fury's part of the Irish mob. He, all this stuff, right? You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
sorry. So my point is, this is childish. Okay, Wilder reacting to Breland, who clapped back at him, it's like, remember, I don't know if you guys have little brothers. I do, and once in a while, I'll pick on my little brother. I'll like smack him in the ear.
Jesus.
And
how old are you again?
Well, I mean, this is when we were kids,
Oh, okay. I thought now, like, you're 40-something.
Let's say when I was like 15 or 16.
Right.
And my little brother's like 11. You know what I'm saying? 11 or 10. I'll smack him behind the ear. I'll have him attack me right on time when my father would happen to be looking our direction. And I go, what is he doing? I don't know why he attacking me for. And my father would be like, hey, you better chill out. Why you attacking your older brother like that? Respect him. And my brother like, no, he smacked me back in my ear. This is what Wilder's doing. All right? Wilder's the instigator who's smacking Breland back of the ear. Breland attacks him. And he's like, I don't know why he's attacking me. I ain't do nothing wrong to him. That's what Wilder's doing. This is childish. Wilder's a child. He's nobody serious. He's a clown. I have a feeling that he's mentally disturbed. Always has been. Okay? Everything he says is what he does or what he's thought of. All the accusations of cheating is stuff that he has done himself. We've seen him. The guy got metal rods in his hands. He's palm striking Luis Ortiz and everybody else. Why do you think he's doing that? He knows what he's doing. He knows he's getting leverage to hurt you more than your regular fist. Just a regular fist. Right? And so in the Luis Ortiz fight, when he was in a dangerous situation, right, because he was getting hit, he started to result. And people were like, oh, it's just that he's a bad fighter. No, he's a cheater. The guy's always been a dirty motherfucker. I know
said this. People are going to say, well, what about Tyson Fury? He's crazy too. Yeah, he's crazy too, but we're not talking about him now, are we? He's not the one that's...
but Tyson Fury's he's not making up excuses like a bitch. Like, Wilder is a female. He's feminine.
Oh.
Yeah, and his fans are that too. Why would you cheer for this mental midget? Is what he is. He's so fragile. He's still talking. He's still making shit up.
Recognize. Have you ever wanted to feel? Have you ever wanted to know what it feels like to be pregnant?
No. It's never, Mucho. It's never entered my mind. I mean, like,
yeah, exactly.
At least with no seriousness, right? Like when you're a kid, little kids they think about a lot of shit. But I'm talking about seriously, like saying, as a man, as a full adult, man, I wonder what it would be like to get pregnant. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
never.
Man.
Nigga, what?
Yeah, that's insane, man. And you know what? It's interesting though because, like you said, he's very female type arguments. By the way, there's a guy calling in, but he keeps dropping out in and out. So let's see if we can actually get to him first. 470, you're on the air. 470, what's on your mind? 470, what's on your mind? Yeah, he keeps dropping in and out. I don't know if he can hear us. All right. Anyway, listen, 470, we can't hear you. And all my settings are correct, so we'll call back next time, right? If somebody else could call back or call in, see if we the phone lines are open and working.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, yeah, so with the whole thing with Deontay Wilder is he's very, like I said, his fan base, and look, it's not there's a paper trail of Wilder acting, like Butcher said, the whole pregnant thing, him saying he wanted to be inside Fury. Remember that during the build-up to the first fight? Oh, by the way, the guy's calling back. Let's see. 470. Can you hear me? 470. Fuck. Butcher, I don't know if maybe they're not working or this guy's not.
Let me call in and see what the fuck.
Yeah, but you know what? Hold
Maybe
on.
it's Block Talk. Maybe it's Block Talk Radio. Maybe it's them.
Maybe it's him because he kept dropping in and out before I answered to him. Anyway, yeah, Wilder's got a paper trail of insanity behind him, and he's. Here's something interesting. Breland said. He said, "Look, I stopped the fight because I got a son his age. I don't want to see anybody dead or die in the ring. And if I had to do it all over again, I would do it again. I would stop the fight."
Yeah. He also said that he saw Wilder bleeding from the ear. Now, whether what's actually coming from the inside or just the outside, at that moment, he didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, you're in the middle of a fight.
Yeah.
Think about it like this, Bucho. You're in the middle of a fight. Your boy's getting his ass whipped. Do you have time to know whether it's coming outside or from the inside? You're just looking at blood coming out of the man's ear. So he's probably panicking. At that moment, Breland's probably panicking himself.
And listen, sometimes you would stop a fight, but because you see your fighter still trying, you kind of like, some trainers go like, you know what, he's still trying. Maybe, I'll give him a chance. But at that point, round 7, Wilder wasn't doing anything. He was just getting his ass beat. So, I mean, why couldn't let the fight continue? There was no point.
Yeah, exactly.
There was no point.
Oh, by the way, I finally figured out
your show will go live in 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'm restarting the phone line. So, yeah. By the way, I wanted to show you fellas something. Let me share the screen with you here Well, actually, I'm going to wait for the phone lines here because there's a lot to talk about. We've talked ad nauseum about Wilder, but I think it's time we finally settle the score here and tell you fellas what's what when it comes to him. But before we do that, let's get to a phone call real quick. 617, you're on the air, 617.
Yeah, what's going on, man? It's Mike from Boston. How you guys doing?
Good, Mike. Thank you for calling in, man. What's on your mind?
I gotta agree with Recognize, man. Deontay Wilder is just a bitch, man.
Oh,
like it's that simple. Like, I mean, what are we talking about at this point? This guy, man. Like, it's been a year. It was a year ago when this fight happened. I mean, almost exactly a year, and we're not moving past it at this point. It's like these guys would literally get on their fucking knees for Wilder. Like, I'm convinced of it.
But Mike, let me ask you something. Because look, I wouldn't put it past anybody to cheat in boxing. It's a dirty sport, and when you're in that ring, it's easy to become a desperate motherfucker right off the bat. So it wouldn't surprise me if some desperate person decides to cheat. That being said, I need proof. I need actual proof, evidence that somebody could take to court and say, okay, I understand the case. I wanted to ask you something here. He keeps talking about that injury, Wilder does, to his skull. Have they ever produced a medical report indicating that he does have a dented skull?
I mean, from everything that I've seen, the only thing that they've shown is that stupid photograph of his face like swelling up when he was sitting in his corner. That was the only thing that ever came out, and then his brother said something about an autopsy. I didn't see anything else ever.
Yeah, man, that's insane. Fellas, Bucho recognizes, do you know if indeed he ever produced a medical report?
What's that guy, Tay Jones, whatever his name is?
Yeah.
Tay Jones.
Tay. He's the one that came out with that.
He's got a dent.
Address the cracked skull specifically, but he did say, remember, a doctor said that he said that Wilder looked as if he was hit by a truck or something like that.
I think he even said a blunt object, right? Like
blunt.
Like
a blunt
fist,
object
maybe?
could be a fist too.
Exactly.
A fist could be a blunt object.
First of all, who is this doctor? What's his name? Would he testify in court? That's all I want to know. Like,
when a man's fist starts to become almost the same size as a man's forehead down to the bottom of his nose, that's a blunt object, right? Because every time it hits your skull, it has the potential of breaking bone. Breaking bone in your face.
Exactly. So I mean,
I don't understand what they mean by blunt object. What does that mean exactly?
Go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
Look, I can't understand how could a doctor make a statement like, okay, this couldn't be caused by a 275-pound, 6'9" professional boxer who beats the shit out of people for a living. You're saying that this injury had to come from something more. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like that guy, you can't say, oh, he must have had something in his glove. I mean, they don't know how hard this guy can hit, and it's like doctors wouldn't make that type of statement. It just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. That's why I was asking, like, if anybody knows if they ever actually produced a PDF copy or any version of this.
And think about this, BDA, real quickly, right? He's 40 in the ring. He is 40 plus pounds heavier than Wilder, right? So there's a weight advantage. So every time a man who outweighs you by 40 pounds is teeing off on you and he's landing on skin, your face and shit like that, yeah, there's a chance he could really fuck you up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what he was doing throughout the whole fight. He was just landing at will.
Exactly. And I want to get back to that in a couple of minutes. But before we do that, because you made an excellent point right there that I want to piggyback off of. Mike, anything else you want to say before we move on? Oh, he dropped out. All right, let's go to 470 real quick. 470, you on the air. 470, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? Yeah, I called in earlier. I heard there was like music playing in the background. But,
yeah, sorry about that.
Good. So Deontay Wilder. The thing is, I think one of you guys were talking about Tom Brady and the Super Bowl before, but basically, in America at least, the left is completely taken over the sports world and the sports media. So,
okay,
that's the truth.
Sports is about competition. Sports is about competition. It's about respecting the results. It's about who's the best, and you just after it's over, you got to respect the winner. That's what sports has always been about. But this people have taken over. There's no respect. There's no accountability. They don't want to respect Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to respect Tyson Fury for winning this fight. And so they got to come up with the excuses. And I don't think it matters how credible the excuse is. There's a segment of the population that's just going to take it. And now getting to the point where I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, but I've seen this in a fight. You got.
Am I the only one that's?
Yeah, no, we're losing him.
Why didn't he? But one
All
thing
right,
I
let's move
will
on.
say though is I do kind of see his point with Breland, in my opinion, and this is the issue, right? So when I don't agree with I don't think Breland should have stopped the fight, and this is why, because I think you got to let the fighter quit. You got to let the fighter quit. You got to let the fighter give up, because I think in Deontay Wilder's mind, he still had fight left in him, and he still had that right hand, and he feels as though Breland took that opportunity away from him. And I think that's what that's why he's calling him a sellout trainer, a turncoat trainer, whatever he calls
But
him.
I agree with the caller. I somewhat agree, but after 7 rounds, seven rounds of Wilder not doing anything, I think that's enough, right?
Yeah, this is the thing. Okay, you may disagree, and some people might agree with you. I might even agree to a certain extent, but at the same time, remember when you're in that corner, and at that time there was a large crowd, everybody screaming. You see him reacting, and he's getting wobbled, and with every right hand he gets caught with, he doesn't have time to be thinking about that. He's looking at it as, look, we watching the fight. I got a bunch of people with me watching that fight. Some of them are casuals, and they're like, yo, they should stop that fight. That dude is getting really fucked up. And at a certain point, as a boxing fan, I was watching it, okay, and people can say, yeah, but you're a Wilder hater. No, he looked lost in that ring. And one of the things you got to do as a trainer is make that decision. Now, you may disagree with it. The way Wilder handled it was totally wrong. Was a man who acted like a child and couldn't accept defeat. Listen, you didn't quit, fine. But your corner said it's over. All right? You got to respect it. You could have a talk with him in private. There's many ways you could have handled this. But the way he handled it, accusing him of of spiking his drink, being disloyal. All that stuff was way worse than what Breland did.
Caller,
stop the fight.
I think if Breland, I think if Breland doesn't agree with how Deontay is, and because I think Deas said that Deontay instructed everybody, under no circumstances do you ever stop a fight. If you don't agree with that, you should leave the camp, leave the fighter. That's the way I see it.
What if Breland? I agree with you. I agree, but what if Breland cares about Wilder? And
He shouldn't be in his camp. He shouldn't be in his camp. He shouldn't be in his camp. You gotta resign.
So you're saying he should resign and let the guy die? Is what you're saying?
I'm saying, if you can't agree, if you don't agree with that, then you shouldn't be in his camp. Period. You shouldn't even have been there for the fight.
I agree with the caller. If he actually said, if he actually see, I'm saying actually because I don't even believe that bullshit that's coming out of Walter's mouth.
Oh.
He probably never said that. Come on, guys. He's out of his mind.
He's just a liar. He probably never even
world that he would die in the ring, and he actually even told his trainers never ever throw a towel.
Bullshit.
That's
Bullshit.
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 That's what he said. That's what he said, and that's what Deas said.
Hey, by the way, is it Deas or Deas? By the way, is it Deas or Deas? Because I heard somebody call him
these nuts.
Where did he come from?
That's the thing, though, because I thought it was somebody called him Deas also in one of the documentaries. I thought, is this guy Mexican or something? Like he's the weirdest Mexican ever.
He's just an Anglo. That's all he is.
An Anglo, just an Anglo. What the fuck? All right.
No disrespect to Anglos. I'm just saying. The guy's not,
all right.
All right, listen, fellas, we got to move on here. But caller, anything else you want to say before we move on?
No, that's all I got, guys.
All right, thank you for your call, man. Good points. We'll catch you in the next one. All right.
He makes good points that maybe you shouldn't be in a corner like that. If somebody actually tells you that, right? Like somebody says, "Look, if my ear is falling off, if my fucking eye is about to come off, you better not stop that fight."
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Yeah, it's a good. No, but the caller did.
Yeah, are they really thinking about that?
But look. The caller made that good point because again, boxing is not a tickle contest. It's not amateur boxing where if you get wobbled, they stop the fight right away. This is professional boxing. Some of these guys are prepared to perish in that ring, and Wilder, credit to him, he was willing to do that. But at the same time, I mean, do you think Wilder, if he God forbid he died in the ring that night, and Mark Breland one day sees him in purgatory, because I don't think they're going to heaven, but let's say they're in purgatory or hell, whatever, and Wilder goes, "Hey, why didn't you stop the fight? Why didn't you stop the fight, man? Look at my family's has to grow up without me." Like, don't you think he would think that about that? Like, I know this guy's got balls, man.
He's the type of person that he even said it. Well, this is what Breland said, that Wilder really thinks he's that great that he need to improve, even work on the jab. Okay, so if that's Wilder's mentality, then I find it impossible for Wilder to even imagine him being in a situation where they would have to stop the fight.
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't even think that would ever have come to Wilder's mind. So I don't think he even said that. He never told the trainers never to stop a fight. No way.
I have to agree here. I think so, man. And by the way, I'm sharing. Let me share with you the Discord here because I want to show you a clip. Because people are saying Wilder said, "Man, I must have been drugged." He said because I didn't feel right. Which is always it reminds me of when people would fight Bernard Hopkins, for example, and he was the older guy. A lot of these people expected to beat the older guy. And then once that failed to materialize and they ended up getting humiliated, which is something they didn't expect, it had to have been something else. Like, remember Kelly Pavlik after the fight? He goes, so there was something wrong with me. It wasn't me. Yeah, of course it wasn't you because you were fighting one of the best fighters of all time. Tarver also, after he lost to Hopkins in an upset, he came out with the spiked drink or drug excuse. So I want to show you this clip, which I think is indicative of, and I'm sharing my screen with you guys. So this is in the fourth round, okay? After the knockout, obviously, the knockdown, Fury pressured Wilder, hit him with a vicious body shot. Look at this here. Boom. And look at Wilder's face.
Yeah, he's scared. He's you know what he's doing right there? He's in panic mode that sucks up energy.
Exactly. There you go.
That sucks up the energy in your body, and that's why it progressed. It got worse and worse and worse.
He's tense. He's trying to see. He wants to see what Fury's gonna do. He's not even thinking about what am I gonna do. He's relying on Fury now, and he's told 10 stop.
The reason why he gave Fury a better fight in the first fight was because he was punching back. You know, in situations he was standing his ground, and he made Fury kind of use angles and fight off the back foot somewhat, right? So, but when he let Fury with no resistance, you know, or very little resistance, dictate the fight, pushing him back, he was dead meat.
Exactly, because
you could break this down. You could break this fight down tactically without using fucking crazy conspiracy theories.
Exactly.
You know, you guys mentioned the point because I don't know, maybe you fellas couldn't see it because the screen wasn't big enough. But when I was showing it on YouTube, and you really see Wilder's face, not only is he leaning back, which is in a unnatural position for a boxer, like Bucho said, he's all tense, and you see him blinking rapidly, fidgeting. Like I said, that takes up a lot of energy, especially when it's a 270-pound guy coming at you. I mean, fellas, there's no... Look, I'm open-minded. I believe in conspiracies. I do believe people conspire to get together to fuck people up. But in this one, I mean, the mere fact that they're just throwing stuff at the wall, see what sticks. It was the lights. It was the costume. It was the spiked water. It was... Wilder was on his period because he was on hormone replacement therapy.
Listen, I believe... Listen, if I'm willing to believe that you could rig a fucking presidential election, I definitely believe you could rig a fight. I know that for a fact. But what I'm saying is, you know, come with better evidence than what you're coming up with, okay? Or
it's childish.
It's childish. Leave it alone.
It's like
I don't care about what you think happened. Just like I didn't care about what Tarver was saying, that he was weakened by the Bernard Hopkins, you know, before he got into the Bernard.
I even heard like if Fury couldn't hurt Wilder in the first fight, how was he able to hurt him in the second? I've heard this. I'm like, yeah, it's called you change your style, tactics,
and he did hurt him.
He did hurt Wilder. It's like for them, it's impossible to change in a fight.
Hey, Bucho,
he ended up come up with a different tactic. That's impossible. No,
he ended up hurting Wilder when he needed to. Okay, in his most vulnerable moment, after he got dropped, he gets back up and he hurts Wilder. So what are they talking?
And they think this guy's Marlinaggi as well. They also think that he's a guy with no power, Fury. He's like Marlinaggi, basically. I'm like, I mean, if you look at Fury's early fights, yes, he was fighting, bombs, basically, but he was knocking them out, right? Mm-hmm. Why didn't Wilder jump on Fury in the first fight then? Yeah, right. So the guy has pop.
Look how he knocked out another guy that was like at least 40 pounds less than him. The cruiserweight, Alexander. What the fuck was his name again? Cunningham. Excuse me, Cunningham. He knocked the shit out of him.
Yep.
When he knocked him out, come on, he looked like he got hit by a truck, right? And this is a guy at the time that was at least 40 pounds. I don't remember the exact weight at the time, but he was significantly heavier than him. So he already showed back then that if you're much lighter than him in weight, he can knock you the fuck out.
That's right. Hey, by the way, fellas,
what are they talking about?
Real quick, let's go to another phone call here. Somebody's been waiting here. Let's go to 559. 559, are you on the air? 559, what's on your mind?
Yeah, can you guys hear me all right?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm hearing you guys talking. So I called. I think it was on Monday after the fight. I called in and because I went to the fight in Vegas. And I called in. I told you guys how it looked live. It looked so fucking brutal. It was like child's play for Fury, you know. But live, you can see they were talking about stopping the fight. Even Wilder fans were talking about stopping the fight since the 5th round, because you could see somewhere in the 5th round, Wilder, like Fury broke his soul. He no longer wanted to be there. You could tell, you could see it so fucking obvious in person. He didn't want to be there. Every time Fury would take a step forward, Wilder was doing the same thing until he got to the ropes, because he can't fucking use the ring. He can't go sideways. apparently, you just go straight back. And everybody there was saying, yeah, they need to start the fight. They were even screaming it at Breland or his coaches or whatever. They were telling him to start the fight. So I know on TV, when I see it again, it looked bad, but it looks so much worse live. I'm surprised they didn't stop the area. I think he was grabbing. He had to actually in the 6th round. Breland had the towel already in his hand. He was gonna throw it in since the 6th. So it didn't surprise me that he threw it in the 7th. I knew he was going to. And for people that don't know, like if they've never actually been in a boxing, I boxed for about 7 years. There's something about fighting someone when you're getting hit that it takes it makes you tired. The more you get hit and the less you want to be in there, every time you get hit, it just takes the air away from you. You don't want to be there. You're so tired. I know he's saying that I had no legs because of this. No, when you're getting hit over and over, you just get so tired. You don't know what to do. It's like I think one of you guys said he was in panic mode, and that's exactly how he didn't know where to go. He was just tired, he winded. There's nothing he was gonna do, nothing.
Exactly,
and
man.
it was so apparent that what else was Breland gonna do?
Exactly. And you know what? You made a great point there about the options he had, because I remember when Fury dropped him, and Wilder got up, I was thinking, okay, well, Fury better be careful here because that power, he could still get clipped. By the 6th round, the way Wilder was flopping back towards the ropes and he had no legs and you could see that he had an adrenaline rush leave him, I said, okay, this guy's got nothing left. His legs were gone. He wasn't going to generate any amount of power. He was just going to take a beating in there. And like you're saying, I think, I saw it on TV. You must have, like you said, you must have seen it more pronounced live. We were seeing how the guy's flopping all over the ropes, just backing up. Did he even land one single significant punch after the knockdown?
No, he.
Not a significant punch. Definitely not.
Fury was so good at going back and going in because he knew that he wasn't going to throw that left. There's no jab. And then if he threw that jab, it wasn't really a jab. It was like a stay away from me, type of thing. So once he threw that right, he would back up. He would go right back in. There's nothing coming at him anyway. So he would just well on him again.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Dude, if you want to teach a boxer, when you get your opponent hurt, how to keep them hurt, watch that fight after, from the 3rd round on. Then again, Wilder is so fundamentally flawed that it becomes a textbook of how to keep your opponent hurt, right? Because he's that bad. He did not know how to make any adjustments. And at that point, he was probably exhausted mentally. Like the worst thing already happened. He got dropped and he's embarrassed. He probably saw that coming going into, before the 3rd round. And so the reason why Wilder was so beat up throughout that fight was because when you never made your image in the ring about fundamentals, it was all about power, and then you take that away from somebody's outpowering you, out punching you with heavy shots. What does Wilder have? He has absolutely nothing. Yeah, he doesn't have anything.
Like Bucho said, the guy had no plan B, man. He wasn't expecting the fight Fury gave to him, and it's not the first time we've seen that happen with fighters. Anyway, listen, caller, we gotta move on, but thank you for your call, thank you for your insight, and call back next episode. All right, man. All right, take it easy, my friend. All right, let's go to another phone call.
People don't forget to hit the like button, please. That's really gonna help the channel. Hit that like button.
Hit the likes. Always hit the likes.
Hit it now. By the way, we got 917 on the air. 917, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
New York.
Yo, what's up, BDA, Bucho? Recognize. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, man. Thank you for calling in.
Man. Shout out to Queens, New York, by the way.
Shout out to Queens. We in the house. We in the building.
Yep. All right, man. So we've been almost a year and a half after this fight already. The fact that people are still talking about it, I want to bring my perspective into the thing. I genuinely believe from the bottom of my heart, most of these channels making these, these Glovegate or cheating controversy, whether it be water poisoning or all types of claims, I believe maybe 9 out of 10 of them don't truly believe it. But what it is they have a base. They have a base. They have an audience that get a thrill out of hearing this kind of talk, and they love it. I don't know why, but you know, maybe it's like a guilty pleasure. It's a guilty pleasure of mine. I go on the channel to hear it and to have a good laugh. But you know, for some of these people, they know that that's what their viewers want to hear. They themselves don't believe it, but maybe 1 out of 10, and you know, God bless them for being so delusional. But the rest of them, they don't believe in it. They're doing it because it gives them content to talk about. And then not to mention, once they bring race into it when no one asked them to, that generates even more view, and it's a whole ploy to rile up anger, divide people, and to stir up controversy for the sake of views, and because they have nothing to talk about.
You know, so you're saying it's almost like those reverends, TV evangelists, televangelists, who, you know, they preach about being Christian, this and that, but meanwhile they don't believe a single word. They're taking poppers, they're getting guys to blow them in the bathroom. You're saying it's the same thing, that they don't really fundamentally believe what they're saying, but that they have this big fan base, so they have to cater to them.
Let's just say, if there was no audience for this sort of content, I don't think, maybe they'll make video for like a month, but it's been a year and a half. If there was no such thing as these audience embracing these, then there would be no one making these videos. But people are just so bored, or maybe they want to see Wilder back in the ring. Maybe when's he coming back? You know, have him back in the ring, fight somebody, knock somebody out. Maybe they'll make people forget it, because like people are so obsessed over it, and videos they're feeding into each other, right? The audience want to see it, so these race baiters keep making it.
That's a great point, man. And you just mentioned also the fact that when is Wilder coming back? They were negotiating a fight with Charles Martin, and apparently it's falling apart because Wilder wants an 8-figure payday. Did you hear that, caller? Or like?
But I thought Wilder was a blockbuster name. 8-figure payday should be nothing, right?
That's what I'm asking. You know, it's like 8 figures to fight Charles King Martin.
Everybody wants to fight Wilder. He's the biggest star in the division.
Yeah. Charles Martin's something about I could chin check this dude. You know, I know I could.
Okay, recognize.
Wilder.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Many fighters are guilty of this. It's not just Wilder trying to ask for more money than they deserve. That's not exclusive to Wilder. Like that's something that every fighter does nowadays. But yeah, I mean, people want to see him back in the ring to just stop this nonsense. You know, just move on with your life, fight again, and let's see where you go from here.
Absolutely.
PBC and
wholeheartedly agree with you. I want to see him back because I think most of his fights aren't that exciting because the build up to the knockout is just him flinching. But look, you can't deny the guy hits hard, and he would make an interesting, if he comes back and knocks out a couple more people, it could set him up for the winner of Fury Joshua 3. I mean, the winner of Joshua.
And there's good things to say about Wilder. Like, look, this is the one thing I'll say. Wilder started boxing at the age of 18. You know what that tells me? And he went to the Olympics and all that stuff. That tells me he's a great athlete. He's a great learner. Okay? There's this ability to adapt and to make himself a part of something that he wasn't initially interested in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he was always a fighter because he's just a great athlete. You know what I'm saying? Great athletes, well-built athletes with high testosterone levels are naturally fighters. And so he, give him some credit for doing that, and even if we feel that he was protected, and I think he was, to an extent he was protected, I still say there's something admirable about this man in terms of his ability to do something to change up his lifestyle and say, look, I was into boxing because he grew up in Alabama. Alabama is a football state. They also into basketball, but it's a football state. Yep. For him to switch it up and then do something, it says a lot about him. But this bitching and crying shit, this making up conspiracy theories like the motherfuckers JFK or some shit like that. This is not how he keeps moving forward. I do believe because he did that, he has the ability to adjust and become a better fighter. I do believe that.
I tell you what, man, if there is a conspiracy, it's probably that his team and management, promotional, whatever, they knew this guy didn't have long, that he was going to get stopped by either Fury or Joshua, and they decided to cash him out. I think
there was some level of that because we always criticize Al Heyman or whatever. I think it comes down to these guys anyway. I don't really think Al Heyman has 100% control over them. Maybe certain fighters, but with Wilder, I think what they did was they took a gamble. They're like, look, if Wilder can't beat Fury, then it's just Fury's probably the best heavyweight, right? Like they're looking at it, they're looking at the landscape and say Fury's the best heavyweight, or he's one of the best heavyweights, right? And if you can't beat him, then we cash out now.
Exactly. Yeah, they got nothing to lose. I mean, they got something to lose, I suppose, but I mean, they gain more by just finally, because now he loses and they go, hey, listen, you're not that big a star. We're gonna pay you $1 million instead of the 3 you might have gotten had you beaten Fury. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's not perfect logic here, right? There's some holes in what we're saying, but you never know. I mean, what I'm trying to say is I would believe that conspiracy first before I believe the whole egg weight lasers in the eyes thing. By the way, caller, we got to move on, but anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Yes. So the last thing is I was a Wilder fan. I still am, but I do acknowledge that Wilder, he had a conscious, there was a choice. He had a choice there to either rebuke the conspiracy post-fight or to fully embrace it. And by him consciously choosing to embrace this conspiracy, I feel like it did alienate the level-headed Wilder fans. Like, come on, like who are you kidding? And by him embracing and not rebuking the conspiracy but fueling the flame, I believe that lost him some fans. But I think Wilder, people hate him, but who they really hate? They hate the radical Wilder, the racist Wilder fans.
I agree.
It was never really on Wilder until he failed to rebuke the conspiracy and he fueled them on. So, back in the day, I used to defend Wilder, and people tell me, oh, why do you like him? Look at his fans. Yeah, his fans are radical. And it's the same principle as people saying, why do people hate Lomachenko? Well, no, we don't hate Lomachenko. We hate his fans. And as a result, we subconsciously dislike Lomachenko, which is unfair. But the same thing happened to Wilder. But the difference is Wilder.
You better watch out when you talk about Lomachenko fans, right?
No, but you know what, though? It's interesting because Wilder, though, there was good cause to root against the guy. Because, okay, he had that whole choking a woman thing. He talked about wanting to kill somebody, beating up on a schizophrenic Charlie Zelenoff. But I agree. A lot of it had to do with his fans. That's for sure. Because how many times do we as boxing fans tend to overlook a guy's actions? Like Fury, for example, he's no saint. I mean, some of the things he said are indicative of a guy who's just who's not all there. But
Fury's a weirdo in his own way. You're right about that.
Anyway, caller, good point, man. Good point.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'll have more in the future, but good programming. I'll be listening in. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in, man. All right, let's go real quick to 707. 707, you're on the air. 707, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up? I'm on?
Yes, you are on, my friend. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up? I was just checking in on the Tyson Fury Wilder thing. I think Wilder is I think he should be reprimanded or something for making false claims. Like, who wants to fight him? Like, if you do beat him, they're gonna be just put all that energy on you. No, this motherfucker cheated too. Like, I'm sorry, cussing, but what I mean? It's just are you just gonna? He's still gonna go? I mean, I wouldn't even imagine being Wilder and going out there with my gloves on, going to fight after I started all this conundrum. My last fight, you know what I mean? Like, he's about to be embarrassed. You know what I mean? There's no way he could think that shit. I mean, he knows he got his ass beat. There's no way he doesn't. Like, you know what I mean? I could see it. My brother thought was believing in that conspiracy thing. I had to sit there and watch he didn't even watch the fight. He just assumed what he was hearing was God's word. You know what I mean? I had made him sit down and watch the whole fight, and then the fight. I said, man, what happened? He said, Wilder got his ass beat. Yeah, that's what happened. It's crazy. That's what I'm just saying.
Well, that's what we were talking about. Yeah. That's what we were talking about earlier. Like Bucho and recognizing myself. We're like, well, okay, does he really believe these theories? Does he partially believe them? Like, you think he doesn't believe them?
No, I don't think there's no way he can. He just. Man, these are excuses. There's no way, because he started off with other excuses first. The costume was too heavy, and the LCD lights or whatever. I mean, I don't know if other people were making that up for him, but the red lights in his eyes, you know what I mean? And And the costume might have had something to do with it. I think he was like having sex all night in the costume the night before, having orgies, and then that's why his legs were shot. That's what I think.
Yeah,
that's
having
That's
orgies.
probably
with
what
men.
happened. You're right. That's probably what happened. Listen, his wife is a good looking woman. I'm not gonna diss him on that one.
Hey, whoa, recognize. He might have been banging dudes. You never know. You're assuming he was banging his wife.
That'll explain the weak legs, right?
He was banging. I think he was having sex in costume all night, and then like he was just tired the next day. He thought
Well, wait.
there wasn't going to be no competition.
Wait a minute. Why is he gonna have?
And
Why would he have sex
just
with the?
warms up before he got there?
Why would he have?
Creepy as fuck. In the dark, you don't see the eyes.
Yeah, why would he have the costume on? Well, he's fucking. Actually, I would. Now that I think about it, I'd put a costume.
Maybe his wife was like, "You look good, baby."
Yeah. But yeah, man, that's like. Listen, you
You
never
didn't
know.
spend all that money to wear it one time. You know what I mean?
That's
And
true.
it's
Yeah,
40
that's a
pounds.
good point.
It's 40 pounds. Like women. My girlfriend's purse weighs more than 40 pounds.
Jeez, Louise, what the fuck does
Like,
she have
that's
in there?
not a lot of weight.
She carries a lot of stuff in there, huh?
Evenly throughout your body.
She carries gold bullion in that purse.
Yep.
All right, listen, caller. Thank you for your call, man. You made us laugh and you made some excellent points. Catch you in the next one, all right, man?
Yep.
Thank you for calling. All right, let's go to another phone call here. 510. 510, you're on the air. 510, what's on your mind?
Hey, 510.
From the 510.
510, what's on your mind, my friend?
Just give me a moment.
A moment?
That's a California area code.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think honestly, when it comes down to Wilder, I think it's just I think he needs to purge. I think he needs to purge his personnel that he has around him. I think he just has a bunch of yes men around him that aren't telling him anything. It's the same kind of excuses we saw in the MMA world with Conor McGregor with Habib. It's just excuses after excuses. It's just like when you have a bunch of yes men and they're telling you you're the shit, it's like, honestly, once you fail, it's like you want to point fingers at everybody else instead of looking at yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Great point, man. I mean, when you surround yourself with people that only yes men, you start deluding yourself and you don't see the room for improvement. And that's why it seems like Wilder was stalling because he.
That's also dangerous too for you as a person. It's one thing saying that in public.
That's
I
what
hope
I
you're not
just said.
believing that all the way through. You know.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I just said. That's why I surround myself with you fellas. You're always insulting me, always telling me I'm crap. So see, that keeps me honest, and it works. You never see me getting knocked out, and you will never see that.
And
that's right.
One thing to add, we also saw something similar with regards to Loma's recent loss with Teofimo. One of the things that Robert Garcia had mentioned is he had mentioned that most of Loma's training camps don't even involve sparring with actual competition. They just give him a bunch of to kind of warm up pretty much. And I mean, that could have also affected Loma too as well.
See, that's a good put. See, that's interesting. I didn't know that. If indeed that's going on, sometimes you gotta see some of these guys. They're highly successful, and so they think, all right, well, what I've been doing so far has been getting me through. So all I gotta do is keep it up. Like Wilder, like I said during the build-up to the rematch, he constantly said, "Fury, you can't punch. You got pillow fists. I'm gonna knock you out." That's all he was saying. Knockout, knockout, knockout. You never heard him say, "I'm a better fighter than you." Everything was dependent upon the punching power. And
I'm gonna knock you out because I'm stronger.
Exactly. And when that didn't work out,
and to some extent, he's not incorrect either. Like for me, I was actually rooting for Wilder. Like I actually like the fact that we actually had an American heavyweight champion. It's just the issue was when after he kind of lost and then he started making up the excuses. The way I looked at it as a person that he didn't really have anybody else to kind of tell him, aside from Mark Breland, like another wise person to kind of tell him, hey man, like honestly, like you need to roll it back and let's do our homework again.
Bucho, you're convinced he's not coming back, right?
Wilder?
I think he will.
Yeah.
He will come back. Well, shoot, I actually, that's a good question. I really don't know, honestly, with his current mental state, honestly.
Well, look, I hope for his. Yeah, I hope he does come back. I mean, yeah, like I said, he makes things interesting. He's not the most entertaining fighter until he knocks somebody out, but you know, by the way,
Ruiz. That's
something
a good fight him and Ruiz.
Yeah, he might fight Ruiz. Listen, but unless he asks for 10 million to fight fucking Ruiz. But here's the thing, man. Like I said in the beginning of the show, I had sympathy for Wilder after he lost and he started embracing the conspiracy theories because I said, man, this guy's grasping at straws in order to satiate his ego. But then now when he's throwing Breland under the bus, and then when Breland fights back, he goes, why is he being disloyal to me? That's when I said, you know what, this guy, I have no sympathy for millionaires anymore, man. I gotta give that a rest, having sympathy for millionaires, because this guy's doing it all on himself. He's attracting this negative energy all by himself.
And I definitely do agree. And here's the thing: Wilder needs to realize, he's like, bro, you're good. Like, he's good. Like, we have to think about it. This dude made the Olympics and won an Olympic medal in less than 3 years. Like, you can't, like, winning an Olympic medal at that level with regards to boxing is not the same thing with regards to having tune-up fights, like, as a professional. No, like, dude literally won an Olympic medal within 3 years of boxing. That's fucking amazing, honestly.
Yeah,
and he needs to rethink about that.
He, like you said, he needs to retool and get away from the people surrounding him because they're doing him no good. Anyway,
it shows an ability of him knowing how, him having the mental capacity to adjust to something like boxing. So then he should be able to adjust to a new style. I mean, that should be common sense. It's just the boy is full of his mind is corrupted. That's what happened. He's look. I know Wilder fans. He's a foul individual. That's what he is. He is. He's just a dirty motherfucker. Like, call it like it is.
Well, you know what?
Can't change.
There's no discipline.
That's why.
Yeah, and I don't think JD is implementing any. I think JD is the biggest problem. He's the one he's the head trainer, and he's not doing jack fucking shit. So there's no discipline in Wilder's camp, and that's been going on for years. It's too late, in my opinion. Too late.
Yeah, me too.
All right, listen, caller. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
All right, no problem.
No, I asked you if you have anything else to say before we move on.
No. That's about it. I mean, for the most part, I enjoy your guys' conversation. It's not every day I get to hear like some boxing talk. So.
Well, we appreciate you listening and hope you enjoy it, man. Call back the next episode. All right, man?
Yeah, for sure. Later.
Take it easy, man. All right, listen, we got Gonzalo who's been waiting for us to finish the phone calls. Gonzalo, thank you for your patience, man. How you doing, man? Thanks for being on.
Doing good, BDA. Tell that
listen,
kid that just called to send a super chat.
Who called in to give a super chat?
No, tell that one kid. Send the kid a super chat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but Gonzalo, we're talking about here Wilder and the never-ending saga he has with the conspiracies, and now Mark Breland biting back and saying, look, listen, that he was never good enough. What do you think? Do you think Wilder, if he decides to come back, because I know Bucho says he doesn't think Wilder is coming back anytime soon.
No, I never said he was not coming back. I don't think he's coming back. I don't think he's going to become a world champion again.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I want to get back to that, though. But let's ask Gonzalo. Gonzalo, do you think, what's the likelihood that he comes back and regains at least a title? One of those alphabet titles.
I don't know, man. It's 50-50. I think he's still got a lot to prove. As far as legacy-wise, he's trying to con a certain sector of the fans that support him. But for him to convince at this point the people that run that ring panel and the people that are going to vote for him to try to get him into the Hall of Fame, I don't think he's there yet. So legacy-wise, he's still got a lot to prove because, like Mark Breland says, the only one real opponent that he faced was an old, I don't think he said old, but we know that Luis Ortiz is old. Mm-hmm. So resume-wise, he's not, at 9 title defenses, that looks a little murky, looks a little shady. He's still got a lot to prove for the people.
Gonzalo, can you hear me?
Believing that he is a great fighter. I mean, yeah, he was champion. He had those 9 defenses, but there's something sketchy there that still needs to be proved. And if he leaves the way he did, that's only going to look worse on him, And if he loses, that's why I say it's a 50-50. If he keeps on losing, that resume is still going to even look worse because once you start catching a lot of losses, when you're past your prime, and he's not really past that prime yet, but still, if he catches a lot of losses, that's going to look worse. So he's really got to win. And he can against selected, hand-picked opponents, as he has showed throughout like his career. But we'll have to see.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
could they pull off the dog in the pony show a little bit more to try to wrap it up and make it seem like he was that good? I don't know. That's why I'm saying it's 50-50.
he
I don't know,
lost.
man. But boxing is really kind of like it's kind of going down that it's kind of diluted itself a little bit, and I hope somebody brings it back where they still got some standards and norms, Bucho.
Yeah, Gonzalo. Let's focus on Wilder and what he said about what he's been saying. Basically, like he said that Mark Breland poisoned him. Okay, he poisoned that. I mean, which boxer in the history who has ever even said this before? Nobody. So I can tell that this guy has lost his mind. All right, he got beat up by Fury. He lost his mind. Now he lost the only good trainer that he actually had. Right, the real trainer here, because Deas is not even a trainer. We don't know who this guy is, where he came from. Mark Breland has said that Deas doesn't do jack fucking shit. He's just there. He can't even hold the pads. And I've seen a lot of videos of him, several videos of Deas holding the pads. He's doing a terrible job. And I went to the comment section, and a lot of people were saying the same thing. I'm not saying I'm this expert, but I can tell, like, when I see a good trainer. And so,
yeah, you don't know jack shit. Thanks mucho, BDA. I'm busy today. I got to go do some things. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. Shout out to all the panel and the people that are listening. Later.
All right, take care, man. So this is my thing. Wilder is losing a lot of things, man. This guy, I don't understand, man. We're talking about him making a comeback. I said that I don't think he will ever become a champion. Sure, he can fight again. Anybody can fight whenever they want. But can he actually make it? Can he reach the same point that he reached before? No, of course not. Especially now with no trainer. These people need to wake up, man. This guy's done, man. His fans are out of control, and we should be addressing this thing, man. Because
Teddy, what'd you say?
Well, I saw a guy in Kovalev who was supposed to be the naturally bigger guy, and he was. And everybody talked about the size in this fight. But I also saw a guy, Canelo, who thought he was the bigger guy, who acted like the bigger guy. More importantly, the more confident and the stronger guy. He put pressure on the bigger guy, Kovalev, all night long. And he was the stronger man all night long. And he was throwing the power punches all night long. And he started to put water in the basement later on in the night, where he started to slow Kovalev down a little bit.
Me?
And then finally in the 11th round, he was able to get close enough where he put the finishing touches on Kovalev. But it was the pressure. It was the power. It was the confidence of Canelo thinking and acting like he was the bigger guy, pushing the fight all night long. I always say that pressure breaks pipes. It breaks people. Tonight, it brought...
All right, can I say something before we continue? Somebody said that if I know more than Deas, I don't know, man. Listen, I don't even know who Deas is, so I can't even comment on that. But Mark Breland, I believe he won an Olympic medal, 2-time welterweight champion. He said that Deas sucks. So I'll take his word. On top of what I told you earlier, that I noticed that Deas was doing a terrible job with the mitts. So there you have it. Mark Breland said that he sucks. What are you gonna say now? That Mark Breland isn't? He has no authority in the sport. Come on, guys, man.
I mean, listen, what does Breland know about boxing? I mean, Breland knows a lot about boxing. The guy was a fucking superb amateur. He's one of the greatest amateurs coming out of the city of New York. You know that, right? Like, I'm not saying New York is the fucking, New York's a big city and had a lot of boxers come out of the amateur system. And for him to be considered one of the best, that's saying something.
I'm reading some comments here. Yeah, listen, he was Breland was he had apparently a great amateur background. He's a world champion. I'll take his word. You know what I mean? Who's Deas?
By the way, sorry, but Yes, sir, good point, by the way. But just real quick, sorry about the fucking Teddy Atlas thing. Because I went on ESPN's page and they got this awful feature where they automatically play a video once you're on their page. And as the page was loading, I went to take a piss. So sorry about that. I didn't mean
you were showing us something.
No. Fuck. I don't want no Teddy Atlas here. But you're right. Keep on. By the way, we got phone calls. So, but just if you guys want to keep talking about the trainers thing, and then
Hit
we'll
the like button, people. Don't forget that really helps the channel. Hit the like.
Yeah.
I've come back for a little bit, guys. I feel a little bit better now. Stomach.
You gotta stop eating those fry ups, man. They're eating your stomach up. That's what.
The fry ups.
Feeling rough as fuck. I think I just think it was the Deontay Wilder talk actually made me sick to my stomach. I think. I actually think my stomach was churning. I mean, look.
Deontay Wilder talk got Stu sick.
Are you on the shitter right now?
Oh, so I just got a message. I just asked some chick out on a date. She just said yes. So I'm feeling a little bit better now.
Are you on the shit?
How old is she, Stu? How old is she?
Well, I remember doing a little thing back in the school days. So she's probably a couple of years younger than me, I think.
Oh,
nice. There you go.
Hey, but Stu, you're not. You're doing. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say we got a phone call here, so if you can just hold on real quick, because I want to give everybody a chance to talk before the phone lines close. Real quick, Oh, jeez, come on. 314, you're on the air. 314, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? Hey, it's sounding kind of sketchy on this side, just so you know. But I just want to say something nobody brings up is Wilder's age. Like, I think he's almost 37. Like, that dude's on short time. He's got no time to change his game. I don't think he'd be anybody in the top 5.
Stu, what about that? He's 35, I believe, or gonna be 35. Are the walls closing in on Deontay Wilder right now?
Well, I don't know one boxer in the history of the sport that's actually improved at 35 years old. I mean, if it's not happening now, it's never going to happen. I mean, what are these Wilder fans expecting him to do? Go. What are they expecting him to go and spend a few hours with Tony Stark and he's going to come back like the fucking Iron Man or something? Tony Stark can't help this fucking guy.
Like, I just never hear anybody talk about that. You know, I mean,
a good
dude's
point.
getting old.
It's a good point, man. It's a good point. Yeah.
At the end of the day, it is what it is with him, right? He's got away with what he's got away with. But he's had a good team around him. Say what you like about him, but I mean, he gets a bit of stick for his team, but they protected this guy since fucking time began. I mean, let's be real. I mean, how this guy has been managed to make the money he has and stay unbeaten and 10 title defenses. I mean, what planet are we on that happens? A man like Deontay Wilder can have 10 title defenses. I mean, let's be real. I mean, if it weren't for his team, he'd have got knocked out 3 or 4 years ago.
Well, listen, I mean, I give him credit for at least, I mean, because people say, oh, Wilder sucks. Well, listen, he's not that bad because he didn't lose to Chris Arreola or Bermain Stiverne or Gerald Washington. So he's got that big right hand. That makes him better than those guys. But at the end, right now, at 35, with people knowing that they can back him up and he can't counterpunch, and he doesn't seem to be willing to learn new things, it's doubtful. Like, I do kind of agree with Bucho. I don't know if he, even in this era of boxing, I don't know if he gets himself another title. Caller, what do you think?
And to the guy talking about Holyfield.
I mean, could you see him in the 70s? There's no way he would get run out. I mean, people like Norton. I mean, I don't see him beating a lot like anybody really from other ages.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's just not schooled enough to do anything with anybody because they used to be a lot more well schooled.
He actually looked good.
When you get older,
you know,
when you get older, obviously, when you get older, you obviously lose a bit of speed, and you have to start setting your punches up. You have to sort of like adapt to your age. It's a bit like Povetkin, right? Povetkin was shot to pieces in there against Dillian Whyte, getting bashed all over the place, and he's been shot for a few years. But experience, boxing IQ, even when he's getting beat up, he can find a way to land that big left hook. The thing with Wilder, when he's getting beat up, game plans go out the window. the shape goes, desperation kicks in, and then he starts thinking of who to blame. We're in a culture now where it's a blame culture, isn't it? It's not my fault I'm a fuck up, it's someone else's.
Great
And
point,
that's the problem with society today. I mean, look, especially with athletes. I mean, athletes, they're so entitled these days, aren't they? Boxers are probably the worst. I mean, they're just entitled. You know, there has to be a reason why someone beats them up. It can't happen fairly. There's got to be a conspiracy behind it. And look he's blaming Breland. I'm surprised he didn't blame Donald Trump yet. He's the only one that ain't had the blame. But
hey, you tripping, fool?
Yeah, that's a good point, man.
Look,
and by the way, you said somebody's calling you
about
Holyfield.
Wilder. The man just, oh mate, when I hear Wilder's name, I start to age by about 15 years. I look at myself in the mirror and I'm 60, you know, nearly. Just by talking about Wilder. I mean,
all of a sudden you're Jimmy's. All of a sudden all of a sudden you turn into Jimmy. He's older than you, I believe. Caller, great point about the age factor there for Deontay Wilder. That's something that people are missing when we talk about this comeback. On the other hand, may I suggest that 35, 36 for a heavyweight is not that old sometimes. You know what I mean?
No, but you're not going to improve that. I mean, I know Shoyd in the track, whatever his name is, trying to say that Holyfield, hang on a sec, caller, Holyfield got better at 35. That wasn't Holyfield getting better. That was steroids keeping him at a level where he can compete. Look, he didn't get better. Have you ever seen the cruiserweight Holyfield? He wasn't a better fighter as he got older. He's just become an absolute monster, didn't he? I mean, look at the size of the guy.
It's a great point. Look at his traps.
Obviously, it helped him taking bigger shots, helped him with his tank, and that's the reason why he was able to go on to an older age and still compete at the level.
That's true. I mean, the guy had a hole in his heart. All of a sudden, he
had steroids. He'd still be asleep now.
Like the caller said, a schooled heavyweight. So let's say, you don't want a 40-year-old boxer with no defense getting hit by younger guys. You know, I don't care how much power you have. If you're 40 in your 40s, near 40, and you're getting hit constantly, you're gonna go down. That's when it's gonna happen. So come on, the guy has no defense. Do you want that? A Wilder?
And he's at that age. He's at that age. You know, Bucho. He's at that age, right? He's 35, where you start to slow down. Like,
hey, Mr. BDA, I'm going to get off.
The reason why they say.
Thanks. Have a good one.
All right, thank you for calling in, man. Thank you for calling in. Take it easy. All right, go ahead, Recognize. He says he was having he said he was having trouble hearing us, but thank you for your comment. Go ahead, Recognize. What were you saying?
So, you know, we all know that they say, like, at 35 is when you start losing your prime. That's the speed, the reflexes. I mean, he's still strong. Like 35-year-old is still very strong, and he still has good enough instinct, reflex, you know, muscle twitch, and all that stuff. But he starts to slow down a bit. Now Wilder doesn't really have to do a lot. He just got to. I think he just needs to correct his foot game just a little bit. I'm not saying you got to be fucking Muhammad Ali over there, or somebody like Lomachenko. No, just correct it a little bit where it benefits him. Employ the jab a little bit more, and just throw the overhand. You know, learn how to shoot your right hand after your jab. If he does that, he can stay in the game for a little while longer. But I get the feeling he's not disciplined enough. At least not anymore. When he had the inspiration to be a boxer and make a name for himself, that was the time to like do that. Once they started putting him in with opponents that were just gonna fucking fall down every time he touches them, that was the worst thing that probably happened to him.
Well, even his fans in the build-up to the rematch were saying, like, oh, he needs to double up on that jab. He needs to stop swinging for the fences and actually set up his shots. Yeah. So they saw it. Wilder was the only one who, for some reason, didn't want to engage in that type of improvement. By the way, fellas, if you call in, please don't use speakerphone. Stay on your phone, on your receiver normally, and scream. Don't be afraid of talking loudly. It's actually better if you speak with assertiveness and with your stomach and not with your chest. Speaking
talk
of
like a man, like that.
Talk like you can act like a man. All right, let's go to another phone call real quick. We got 443. Hold on a second. 443, you're on the air. 443, what's on your mind?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you, man. What's on your mind?
Yep.
Hello?
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I don't know why people feel so badly for Breland. I think if we look at Wilder in the Olympics and Wilder now, not much has changed. Breland can't train worth a shit. Deas even admits on camera that he can't train worth a shit either. There's nobody really in that team who can train worth a shit. And Wilder is 36. I don't think he's going to improve.
Yeah. I mean, all the valid points.
You know what I mean?
All valid
Like,
points.
If Breland...
Go ahead, caller.
You know what I mean? That's the thing, like... Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know if... I have echo in the background?
No, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, like, if you're working a professional job, right, and Wilder's the trainee, and Breland and JDs are the trainers, you give them 13 years, and nothing has changed, really, then those guys got to go. I think Wilder's fault for keeping them. Like, I saw Breland in the interview making fun about Wilder fights.
Don't blame the tools.
You're part of the brain.
Don't blame the tools. At the end of the day, you could put Manu Stewart in there. You could put Gus D'Amato. He could have the dream team, and he'd still be fucking useless. Look, at the end of the day, the guy's a narcissist. He doesn't want to learn. When are you lot going to stop blaming every other fucker apart from Deontay Wilder himself?
No.
The fact is, he got exposed for lack of boxing skills, and let's be real, it was actually quite embarrassing. Just watching his performance was quite cringe at times. He was absolutely fucking useless, and he deserved to get his fucking head caved in for 7 rounds. He really did. I mean, if I had my way, if I had my way, he'd still be getting punched on the ropes now because he deserved it.
All right, hold on. Let the caller reply. Caller, go ahead.
When he first, no. Let's be honest. Let's be honest, dude. When he first started boxing, if anybody first started, right? You think he had an ego after he came off a Budweiser truck? Really? He didn't have a pot to piss in.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Just make sense of it. The ego came after he knocked out that fat as fuck Stavern, who had no business being in the ring. That's when the ego really started. Even when he probably become champion. But if you have a blank canvas, right, which Breland had, which was Wilder, a blank canvas when he first started, there was nothing there, literally. And you can't draw a good picture, that means you're a bad artist. I'm not saying Wilder's super talented or is meant to have great skills, but nobody's supposed to be flailing in that ring. Nobody's supposed to be flailing in that damn ring.
Caller, I agree with you.
If you can't get that out of somebody, you're shit too.
I agree with you. Look, listen, but I do disagree on one thing, though. I think Wilder is physically talented. He's got hand speed that he's very quick with that 1-2. I think he's got the quickest 1-2 in the business, in the heavyweight division for sure. And he's got that wicked right hand. He's got good reflexes. But like you said, the tools required, he's not, for some reason, he either doesn't get it or he's not willing to get it. Because look, I've trained a couple of people myself in the past. And there's guys out there, when you're training newbies, for example, you can tell right away after a week of working with somebody, you can tell if he's going to get it or if he's not going to get it. And some people never get boxing. It's nothing necessarily to be ashamed of. I mean, it's different strokes for different folks. But it could be the similar thing with Deontay Wilder. Maybe he peaked. Or like you said, maybe he's not willing to learn and the knockouts went to his head. So what I'm asking you is, let's say you had Deontay Wilder's ear and you could sway him to get a new trainer or whatever. What would be the best move for Wilder right now in terms of trainers? Like, who would you go for to get to work on Wilder?
Shoot. I don't know. I mean, maybe John David Jackson or somebody, but I don't think he can really improve. I think 36 is past it. He can probably pick up like some new stuff, like new skill, something small, but those fundamentals should have been taught from the very, very beginning. And if you were there from the beginning and you weren't able to teach him those fundamentals, or if he didn't want to listen, just leave. Just leave.
It's a great point,
well,
man.
He's getting paid. I mean,
yeah, that's the thing.
A lot of people asking, well, why didn't Breland leave? Well, he's getting paid. You know what I mean? Why not? Why he's
getting paid to give his advice.
Yeah.
And by the way, shadow boxing Shadow Boxing in the chat said he should go with Sugar Hill. I was gonna say that. I know it sounds like a joke, but why not? Like when Miguel Cotto lost to Pacquiao, and then eventually he went with Freddie Roach to train him. You know, the guy that beat him. So maybe that wouldn't be a Kronk guy. Wouldn't be a bad thing. You know,
Mate, mate, you could put fucking Drew Hill in there. It's gonna make no fucking difference.
I'm with Stu, man.
I mean, look,
I'm seriously with you. I'm tired of this shit. Like, if he gets it doesn't matter who he gets. Come on, like even the caller said. I mean, he never developed the fundamentals. Why would he start developing something now? It doesn't just because he's a new trainer. Get out of here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. He won't. He doesn't have the fundamentals. But my thing is, and there's I don't know who it is on the line, who just thinks like Wilder's an alien from space, and you can't teach this guy. You can't teach him anything now because he's too old. But I'm saying like he just picked up boxing at 20. He didn't have anything. Like nobody could teach him anything even back then. He was an arrogant narcissist.
No. Well,
Like,
I probably. I mean,
so.
I don't think nobody has ever said that he wouldn't have. He could have learned. He's a human being. I don't think he's that retarded to the point where he can't learn anything. You know, I think that's some intelligence.
But
he didn't want to learn.
He's talking about Stu. You're talking caller. You're talking about Stu Little, the one and only.
Yeah, he's saying like it's impossible to teach this guy even at age 1. Like I don't think that's impossible. I think it's impossible now, but I mean.
Yeah, but caller, to be fair to Stu, he's having. To be fair to Stu though, he's having stomach issues right now. That's what he said. He's having some stomach flu or something. So. All right, Stu. Mute your mic if you're having stomach issues, please.
Mute your mic, man.
Mute the mic.
Yeah, man.
That weren't me.
Oh, come on. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Stu!
All right, listen, caller. We're gonna go move over to another call. But anything else you want to say before we move on?
Yeah, just that he definitely fell in love with his right hand. But if you look at the body of work, like I think everybody here agrees that it's the same fighter from the Olympics. I mean, I could probably show you a video where he does that left hook off the ropes. That's hard to watch. Mm-hmm. And he does it the same exact way, even 13 years on. It's, you know, something has failed there. And I don't think he can really improve now. At age 36, he's past it. So I do hope something turns out well for him. He's done a lot for himself and his family, you know, with his child, with the spina bifida thing. So I think it's a lesson learned.
The spina bifida actually sounds like a dish or something, like something from a Gordon Ramsay restaurant or something. Anyway, listen, caller.
I remember being a big fan of his, or like somebody thinking like, you know, I like Wilder. He's a good person, and this is that was my initial thought when I found out about him and I heard him talk about his daughter and all this stuff. I was like, yo, I like this guy. I'm willing to like that was the guy that I was like paying attention to.
That's because you have a daughter, man. Come on now.
Yeah. There's a level of like you could identify with him, but when he started becoming like basically like the assholes on YouTube, I was like, all right, I don't like this guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
look, listen.
When he started to become no different than fucking the LDBC, whatever. I was like, man, this guy's got a terrible attitude. It's gonna cost him.
He needs an attitude readjustment, that's for sure. Anyway, listen, caller, thank you for calling in, man. We'll catch you in the next one, all right? Excellent points. Take it easy, man.
Yep, take care.
You too, man. All right, let's go to another phone call real quick. 973, you're on the air. What's on your mind, my friend?
Hey, I just want to say that it's come to a point where Wilder has too many excuses, and he's become a better poet than he's become a boxer. How many videos are we going to see this guy doing poetry about shit that has nothing to do with boxing? You know what I mean? And it's crazy to me. I mean, like the first fight, he looked at pretty good, you know, like he dropped him. The second fight, he just got outclassed. It's just Fury had more time to train, and he came and he whooped his ass, and that's it. There's no other secret to it. You know what I mean? Like he just got outclassed.
All right, now let me ask you this. Who do you think out there, I'm going to give you a couple of names from the top 10 guys in the division. heavyweight division, of course. You tell me who would you pick to beat Wilder out of these names, all right? Let's start with number 10, according to Ring Magazine, Alexander Usyk.
I think Usyk will beat him also.
All right.
Me too.
Oscar Rivas, the Montreal Colombian.
Nah.
No.
All right. Michael Hunter, former cruiserweight.
No.
Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Andy Ruiz.
Hey, if Andy Ruiz could beat Joshua, I think he has a chance at beating him too.
All right, so let's say yes. Okay, Luis Ortiz. Well, actually, let's skip Ortiz because, I mean, let's say just say no.
Yeah, Ortiz is done.
Dylan White.
Dillian White is a good fighter, but he always gets caught. So I think he will lose too.
Okay, Alexander Povetkin.
That's the guy that beat Dillian White. So I think Wilder could beat him too.
I think Wilder beats Dillian White. Dillian White has too many flaws to avoid Wilder for 12 rounds. But this is the problem that people get with Wilder. Yes, Wilder's quite bad on the eye to watch, but Wilder, what Fury did to Wilder, Dillian White doesn't have them attributes. He's going to be strolling forward, right, with his fucking chin in the air, and he's going to get slept. The thing is that Fury's foot move, his IQ. Wilder's bad, but he's still good enough. That right hand's good enough to beat a lot of these guys. I mean, I don't even know why Luis Ortiz's name was mentioned.
You don't think Dillian White can land on Wilder? You don't think Dillian White can?
He can land on Wilder. This is the thing. It's one of them fights where
people that know how to jab.
White's going to have to go in there. Oh, can I finish? White's going to have to go in there early and land one. Because the longer that fight, I just fancy Wilder will catch up to him eventually. But look, Dillian White can stop Wilder with one left hook. There's no doubt in that. It's whether he does it or not. I mean, look, the division's quite poor. That's what I'm saying. That's what gives Wilder a chance against a few of these guys. Let's be real. I mean, I think pick Joshua to beat him. I pick Fury to beat him.
Povetkin knocked out Dillian White has no chance.
Well, listen. Hold on.
But there was that punch that Povetkin landed. It was a perfect shot. Like, see, there's technique behind it. What Wilder throws, yeah, sure. If it lands, it knocks you the fuck out. But you can see it coming too.
So, real quick, man.
I think he didn't White a good chance, man.
Sorry to interrupt, man, because I thought you were finished. Real quick, I missed a couple of super chats here. Shout out to Up the R's, who says big up to Al Gaiman. Shout out to Texas Bulldog Boxing, who said Stu has the mud butt. Yeah, he's got the mud butt. Yeah, that's what they call it. And shout out to Mike Drop 64, who just donated the super chat. He says, I made a video on Johnny Boy. All right. Good for you, man. Thank you for your contribution. All right. So sorry about that. Okay. So Bucho, you believe, you've told me that before. You think White can get to Wilder. So would it be just a notion or a question of who gets to who first?
Yeah. I'm telling you, a lot of these boxers, once they get in with Wilder, they're going to be more aggressive. They're going to be more confident. Mm-hmm. They won't do they won't fight like Fury did in the first fight against Wilder. Even Fury, look at that. Fury didn't really believe in his power. He actually was.
That's a great point.
Was concerned about Wilder's power.
I think the first
go ahead,
fight.
Tyler.
The first fight, like anytime you fight Wilder in the beginning, it's almost like the Tyson effect. They have that fear in the ring, but once you feel his power and you feel that you can absorb it, if you fight him a second time, you could beat him.
Great point.
Once you see them in the ring and you see their how they attack you, and you get used to it, you're like, all right, I could take that away. That was the thing with Tyson too. Tyson acquired more physical capabilities, like think of Evander Holyfield. Like every time Tyson would come in, and let's say he somehow slipped through the jab, he'll grab him, right? He'll grab Mike Tyson's arms a little bit, or grab him by the head, and rough him up a little bit. And so the same thing with Wilder. Wilder, once he became, and he's even easier to predict, right? Because he tries to punch you with the overhand right, when the referee breaks you up, right? Once you already know when the referee breaks you up, he's going to try to sneak attack you because Wilder is more of a street fighter, and that's street style.
Hey, what if Dylan White comes out fighting like against Wilder? Like, if they ever fight, let's say, what happens if Dylan White comes out like Peter McNeely? And seriously, while he comes up, Peter McNeely, put us on the rope, start fucking.
He'll get slept like Matt Healy. That's what'll happen.
Let's be honest. Deontay Wilder is like the Marvel superhero Iron Fist. Once he charges up his fist, if he misses that, he's done because he throws all his energy to one punch, misses it, then he looks sloppy and tired the whole fight, and that's how he got caught in that second fight and looked like an idiot.
Hey, by the way, there was a porn star named Iron Fist too, gay porn star that is. But you know what? That's a good point. When these guys load up, like Wilder, you can look. The reason why he gets listen, the reason why Wilder can get away with loading up on the 1-2 is because he's faster than almost everybody out there, including Tyson Fury.
That's exactly why I pick Andy Ruiz to beat Wilder. I mean, look.
Can you imagine if Wilder
for a start, Ruiz has got a very good chin for a start, right? And another fact, in the pocket, Ruiz is explosive. There's just no one can touch him. I mean, Anthony Joshua is quite dangerous mid-range and in the pocket. He was getting blasted out of there. Ruiz has got tremendous hand speed, very accurate with his shots. I got a feeling he'll get the Wilder. Because the thing with Wilder, he'd have to keep that at range, and Ruiz has got a bit more about him than Dominic Brazil and them sort of guys. Do you know what I mean? So
the way Wilder's built, Stu, it's a crying shame that this motherfucker doesn't know how to box off the jab, double the jab, knows how to use a little bit of lateral movement, just a little bit. I'm not saying you're gonna be fucking Fred Astaire out there on your fucking feet. Just be have decent footwork. Just have decent footwork and a nice jab. The way Wilder is built, he's built to last.
Recognize
6'7", 220, 230.
No one's asking him to dance around the ring like you said, like Freddie Astaire. But I mean, anything better than this Andre the Giant footwork that he's got right now?
Yeah,
I mean, come on, man.
Terrible, man.
You know what, man?
A guy like him should be a heavyweight Tommy Hearns.
Well, he is. He just can't box. That's the problem. Listen, I remember reading one of the magazines back in 2003, I believe, and they did a feature about the top 10 heavyweight prospects, and they had a bunch of guys. They had Malik Scott in there, and I think at that point he was 6 feet 5 inches tall, but he was wiry. He weighed about 220 pounds, I think. And I remember looking at him and thinking, "Whoa, that was the first time I'd seen a heavyweight that thin." And I remember thinking, "Man, if only he could punch." And then when Wilder came along, I said, "Hallelujah! Finally, a heavyweight Tommy Hearns." Problem is, he had no skill. So if you would have mixed in Malik Scott's skills with Deontay Wilder, we would have had a dangerous guy.
You'd have a fucking weapon on your hands because look, Malik Scott. That's the only thing he can do is run and survive. Because when he sits and plants, he's fucking useless. So look, Luis Ortiz could hit Malik Scott for toffee. Could hit him all night. So Malik Scott's more than capable of using his feet and getting out of trouble. Malik Scott's problem is when he has to give out the treatment, he hasn't got it. So where Wilder, that's what he's best at, giving out treatment. You put that sort of footwork and that sort of know-how to Wilder's punching power, you got a dangerous weapon on your hands. But look, that's not going to happen, is it?
Nope.
So
nope.
It's just not going to happen.
And I remember watching him after he beat Bermane Stiverne. I was like, man, if this kid could build from that, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a machine because he's built like one. I mean, look, dude, when you're like 6.
But like,
go ahead, I'm sorry.
But like, Bermane Stiverne was a little bit done at the end. Like that was like when they was fighting. Like it was like when they beat up Adonis Stevenson. It was like he was really at the tail end of his career too. So
yeah, but at the end of the day, man, when that fight happened, I got to keep it 100% with you. I got to keep it 100% because I thought he was gonna get knocked out because I was like, yo, he's so. I've seen his fights before. Bermane Stiverne, the first fight, and I wasn't impressed. But when he switched it up, and he was boxing, I was like, man, this kid could be a real problem because he's 6'7", he's lean, muscled up. He looks like he's built to last. He could do this for 12 rounds. I I was thinking that maybe we're watching something great, but then he fell in love with
Yeah,
that
but the
power.
problem is, recognise the problem. The problem was in that fight, he broke his hand, so it took his weapon away from him. So he had
Right.
to
I didn't even know
adjust.
that
He
at the
had
time.
he had to dig deep
Yeah.
to what little IQ he's got and get through the fight, and actually made him look a better fighter. The problem is, he's such a narcissist. He thinks all he's got to do, walk in there, tap them on the chin, night, and it just doesn't work like that in boxing. Once you start going to the top level, these guys are not falling over. There's a reason they're at the top. You know what I mean?
Caller, we got to move on. Anything else you want to say before we move on to another call?
Like the only thing I want to say is, if you guys ever get a chance, you can look me up. The name is Poefar, Poefar. I just dropped a new song. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely gonna be in the next chat with you guys. You guys have like very good points, and everyone have a great evening.
All right. Thank you for calling in, Poefar. Check out Poefar on YouTube, I believe he said, and check out his work. Hopefully, it better be good, Poefar.
Poefar?
Wait, I think he's the guy who
Yeah,
sent
it's,
us a song on Twitter.
Poefar.
All right. Fantastic, Poefar. Take it easy, man. Thank you for calling in. All right.
Thank you, guys.
No problem, man. Let's go to another phone call real quick. 346. 346. You're on the air. 346. What's on your mind?
What's up, man? How y'all doing?
Good, good. How about yourself?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man.
Oh, I'm all right, man. This H-Town. I ain't calling in a minute, man. I just wanted, man, I know y'all sick of this, man. I know y'all been tired of hearing all this. Like,
I know what
I'll
this
be real
is.
quick about this. This stuff with the Wilder and the LDBC, bro, that you just can't take a loss, man. Why would anybody have to load gloves up for you? Who is you, bro? You is not good technical. Tyson Fury does not have to load gloves. He doesn't have to spike water. You already threw your coach under the bus. Like, this dude is just getting ridiculous. The whole, I'm watching boxing for a long time. Now, if this would have been Tyson Fury that lost and came up with all this shit, do you know how much havoc he would be getting right now? Do you know what an embarrassment this is, bro? This is just, and I hate to say this, man, because I'm from the hood, but at the end of the day, you know what it is? If Wilder would have got beat by anybody but Tyson Fury, he would have accepted it. He just can't accept the fact that a white boy beat his bitch ass, bro.
You think that's what it is, man?
I hate to say it, but boxing is
It has
boxing.
something to do with it. The caller's right. There is something to that.
Without a shadow of a doubt, the caller's spot on, man. Look, Wilder's made it clear to us recently what his feelings are, and it is what it is. I think, he made it about Black history, so he put a lot of pressure on himself when he did that, because then all of a sudden, when you start mentioning Black history and everything else, and you have Martin Luther King on the screen, then you've got a whole race of people looking at you to see what if you're going to fucking do the goods. And he went in there and embarrassed himself. I mean, look, it's not like he went in there and put on a good show and just got beat by the back. He got fucking mutilated.
Yeah,
look, a lot. I went on Twitter after that, and I saw a lot of American black people. Let's just say that turning on him and laughing at him and mocking him, and sort of thing. So. When you come out like that, and then you've seen your own people mock you on Twitter, it's took its toll on him. Look, this guy's mentally shot to pieces. I told you, after the second fight, he'll never fight Tyson Fury ever again. I told you this. We continue to have show after show after show about it.
He can't beat him.
Go ahead,
He can't beat him. And this dude in the comment section, look, I'm going to show you how stupid and ignorant people. This dude, Steven Schneider, he just said, biased black man calling in. First of all, I'm not black. Second of all, it just shows you how biased you think my voice box is to call me black. Yeah, I hang around a bunch of black people. We different races up in here, but what the hell does that got to do? Because you see how racist boxing is? Now you know he's black, because if you say anything against a certain color, that's a certain. So we know Deontay Wilder's black. So we know everybody in the comment section, if they like him, that's bias right there, because they're black. What does color got to do with anything? I wouldn't care if he was purple. He came in the next fight with a crayon. He still ain't going to beat Tyson Fury.
Well, I got to tell you, man.
It don't matter what color you put on this boy, man.
I got to tell you.
Just to say this, man, for people out there, man, no, just let me get this off real quick, and I'll let you. Just to get the people, man, that been watching boxing, it's not about who you like and what. We're looking at what is reality, man. The man ain't got no footwork. The man ain't got no technical skills. So what does common sense tell you when you got a brain, bro? You know what I mean? Is you take away the only thing this man got. So when you take away that, you take away the right hand. Once you take away something somebody don't got, what else can they do, man? Besides make excuses when they get their ass tore up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
Either way it goes. He
Great
lost.
points, man. Great. And by the way, people in the chat room are convinced that you're black, but I guess you can't convince everybody, man. By the way, listen, I'm going to ask you what I asked.
Everybody's convinced I'm black too.
Yeah. And the people are convinced I'm Russian.
Yeah,
or something.
It's a Texas thing,
To be
man.
fair,
You know, this
I'm
is a
going to be
boxing
fair
thing, so
though.
I'm just trying
I'm going to be fair.
I don't care about color. I
Most
don't
black
care about
people,
color.
most black people that actually understand boxing and get it and know the sport. They're not behind Wilder. They're not defending Wilder. They're laughing at Wilder. It's only these clowns that have got this narrative to push, and they'll just roll with it until it stops rolling, man. Man, I was
And I know y'all are sick of it because I've been with y'all. I ain't talked to y'all in a minute if y'all don't remember me, H-Town, but Houston, Texas. But I mean, we've been talking about this, and I know you can't help but talk about it because if it was up to y'all and majority of the world, we would just drop it and leave it like this. But the LDBC has to create this narrative because they cannot accept this. They can't accept it. They'll never accept it. And you know what? It don't matter because there's one person that know he got his ass whooped, and that's the Lord Jesus. That's that made him and made Wilder. See, that's one person you can't lie to. You can sit here and tell lies on these TVs and YouTube and create this LDBC bullshit. The LDBC ain't nothing but the black KKK. That's all.
Hey, by the way,
people, bro.
I gotta add
I hope they're not
something.
going out there lynching people, man. I hope that's not what they're doing. But
I gotta add something here, man.
Their rhetoric is bad. I would say that. Look, the one thing I would say about this whole Tyson Fury thing is that, look, man, when I was watching the fight, and I was watching the fight with my friends, who some of them are black, some of them are Hispanic. It was like one white friend there. The whole basic gist of Wilder was by everybody, not me trying to commentate and tell them what to think, just their automatic instinct. This guy can't fight. He don't know how to box.
Yeah.
That's because they're racist.
I mean, some of these dudes are as black as Wilder.
Exactly,
you know what I'm saying? They're dark, or even darker than him.
He can fight.
I've been saying it for 8 years.
That's
I've been saying it for 8 years. I've been getting abused. I've been getting stick for it. So you don't know shit about boxing. But at the end of the day, what I said about this chump 8 years ago has come to roost. Look, at the end of the day, I told you, as soon as he comes in with a guy that's going to step to him, take the fight to him, take his range from him, he's fucking finished. And that's exactly what happened.
And everybody,
do you know what I mean?
Hey, everybody, I'm going to cut you off. Look at his resume.
Yes,
let's all be real on here, man. In the comment section, too. Look at his resume, bro. You tell me beside Ortiz who this goddamn dude beat, man. Let's be realistic. Boxers. Mike Tyson was a beast. I love Mike Tyson, but he beat a bunch of tomato cans when he fought real boxers. Lennox Lewis. What happened to him?
Did you just call Stu Bo? Is that a Texas thing?
No, I've been saying, I've been saying this on this show for a long time now. Tyson's one of my heroes, but I like to keep it real, as I say. And when I go down that resume and see some of the guys, and I remember some of the guys he was fighting, and some of the guys he was ducking as well. I mean, Lennox Lewis, I mean, he could have retired just on the money that Tyson paid him to avoid him. So, you know, he didn't have to fight. So, look, Tyson, as soon as Tyson come with someone with a bit of range, you know, that could use the straight punches and had a bit of footwork, he was in trouble. And look, I've been saying, I agree with the caller.
Well, listen, I gotta say this,
I would disagree a little bit with the Tyson thing.
Man, but all you people in the comment section talking about hillbilly and all this, man, you come to Houston, though. It's good. You can talk on the internet. That shit sounds good on the internet, but a motherfucker slide your motherfucking ass too with that bullshit. So,
all right,
caller, you know what it is? You know what it is, caller? Let me tell you what it is.
We know y'all can't fight either. Y'all probably some Deontay Wilders got one punch, and I'll move and dance around your fuck ass too. But yeah, y'all be good, man. I'm a contact, man.
You see, you know what it is? And I'm from a big city.
Yeah.
The big city dudes think that they have something on the country folks, that they think they're smarter. They think they're, they just think they're better. And then they find out that they're really not, right? Like on every level, they're just not. Big city dudes have terrible attitudes.
Hey, and one thing if you know anything about Texas, boy, hey, we hit out here, bro. We play football. We hit out here.
Cool. I won't get. Cool. really funny. Cool. Sounds a bit funny,
But
but
hey,
look,
man,
caller,
that was a
don't take
good one though, man.
don't take it personal what the chat's saying, bro, because this is a sanctuary for degenerates. Anyone knows that.
This is
You know, I
troll.
mean, if
Hey
there's
man,
a
all
if there's a
South
heathen
boys, man,
around, the
y'all remember,
BDA
man, we
will
Houston,
find them.
Texas. You know we hold it
So look,
down, man. We hold
don't
it
listen
down,
to them,
bro.
mate. They're
Hey,
just trying to
caller, I
wind
gotta
you up.
ask the caller something before he go. Caller, before you go, please do me a favor. Pretty
Yeah.
please with sugar on top. Could you say one of the lines of one of my favorite movies? Could you please just say the entire state of Texas, along with the FBI, is looking for you? Could they find you? No.
Hold on, say that again. Say that again.
The entire state of Texas, along with the FBI, is looking for you.
Man, the whole state of Texas, the FBI is looking for you.
All right, fantastic. You just made my day, man.
All
You
right,
just made
baby.
my day.
That's
Take it
awesome,
easy, man.
man.
Thank you for calling, man. And by the way, I want to say something real quick because the caller said, "Oh, it's not about race." Listen, I'm going to admit something here. Around 5 years ago, I got beat up by a 5 feet, 5 inch tall Indian guy who had a mustache and one of those pompadours that they all had there from the 1970s. This guy beat me up, man, and I said, "Oh, fuck." I'm going to admit, I would have rather been beaten by a big
BDA
black
hasn't
guy.
been the same.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. So it is racial. When somebody kicks your ass, it is absolutely racial, man. That's the first thing that goes through your mind. Which race would I rather have
Can't
been
believe
beat
I
up
let
by?
this Indian motherfucker beat me up.
All right, let's go to another phone call real quick, man. We got 668 on the line. 668, you're on the air. What's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to call in and maybe defend Deontay a little bit here. I'm not going to defend his actions. I'm not going to, defend his supporters and what they're saying. But I just gotta defend Deontay a little bit here. So this guy's 6'7". So what trainer? I mean, what trainer is he going to be slipping punches from? This guy's so tall. I mean, how can he really get those like basic fundamentals of bobbing and weaving and some of that other stuff that he doesn't have? I mean, who's he going to learn that from? I mean, if he was 3 or 4 inches shorter, he would probably have maybe a better career. And another thing is he won for like 12 years. And he was brought up the right way. I mean, he didn't have to face a lot of tough competition. He was basically knocking everybody out. Defended his title 10 times in a row. He doesn't really know how to lose. And the fact that he's self-destructing right now is not a surprise because he's shown that self-destructive behavior in the past.
Well, listen, caller, that's a good point.
It's got to be a huge mental toll on this guy. He's searching for answers.
But
Sorry,
listen,
go
caller, I agree with your points, man, about being tall. It makes it awkward when you're that tall. That being said, look, if he can't stand I hate to use this cliched phrase, but if he can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. It's professional boxing. Look at Lennox Lewis. Look at Tyson Fury, who's 6'9". He knows how to box. Could we maybe get him to learn how to parry shots?
Yeah, but those
like,
guys had,
yeah,
like Tyson Fury and the Klitschko's, at least they had brothers who were like, they could spar with. Deontay has like a younger brother who's not very good, but there's really no one in the gym to challenge him. And he's got like he became a boxer, but that's not even his first sport. So I mean, we got to give this guy some credit for what he's accomplished.
Look, I'll give you an example, caller. Like Jamal Charlo, 160 Charlo. Like he when he gets in the ring, he's mostly taller than his opponents, right? Especially being for the weight class. I think he's like 6 feet or 6'1". So he's a pretty tall guy. He doesn't have excellent weaving skills because he's not used to fighting guys taller than him. But the one thing he knows how to do is parry a shot and move his fucking chin. That's the one thing that you could say about Charlo.
Yeah,
that at least for me that I can say,
there's a lot of trainers
because you know why? Because he has boxing
there's
fundamentals.
a lot of people that are 6 feet tall. I mean, there's no one who's 6'7". I mean, those guys are playing.
No, I get what you're saying,
but
but the example applies to Charlo. Charlo is a guy when he steps in the ring, from 154 to 160. And even at 168, when he goes up, he's going to be at least as tall as most of those guys. He doesn't have to display his weaving skills. So we don't know if he knows how to slip a punch or not. But what he does know how to do is parry shots. He knows how to block the shots. He knows how to move his head because he understands boxing fundamentals. Wilder kind of lacks that, bro. He lacks that.
And by the way, caller, I understand what you're trying to say here, but look, Vladimir Klitschko had a career where he had giants with him. inspiring. You can find giants. Now, you're not going to
but
find...
he had a twin brother.
What?
He had a twin brother. He had a brother.
I know, but
I mean,
even
does that
he
mean
wasn't.
another
But
guy
listen,
who
hold
was
on.
fifty-
Yeah, I mean,
During
that's
but hold on, hold on, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, listen. Look, during the height of his career, he was inspiring his brother. Like you can get tall people to spar with you. I mean, it's not like they've all been exterminated. Like tall people have been exterminated off the face of the planet. There's tall boxers out there. Now they're not as good as Tyson Fury, but they're close enough that they can give you good working so that you can work on your defense. I mean, look, I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, boxing training is like the being an alcoholic. You have to want to stop being an alcoholic for it to work, and you have to want to learn about boxing for it to work. If you don't want to learn, you can have the best trainer in the world, like Sue said. It's not going to work if the guy doesn't want to learn. If he thinks he already knows everything, and I think that's what happened with Wilder.
I think that's part of his issue is that when you're basically this freak who's constantly winning, I mean, and you've got this inflated ego. I mean, some of it you can understand. I mean, when has he ever had to do those things? When has he had to learn? He really hasn't had to do that. So you can't totally fault him for not fighting like Rigondeaux or look at Mike Tyson. I mean, he was so successful because he was the opposite of Deontay Wilder, and you could find a lot of guys who could give you sparring and who could train you, and you could be slipping these punches. But Deontay Wilder is 6'7", guys. I mean, it's really, there's just not many guys like him walking the earth. And on top of that, he's got real skinny legs. So, I mean, he's not going to be a guy who's going to be squatting down a whole lot. Look at Anthony Joshua. I mean, he's built differently. He's tall. Look at Klitschko. They got bigger legs. All these guys have much bigger legs. Deontay Wilder should have been a basketball player. It just so happened.
Caller.
In
Why
his
didn't
left
he
hand.
develop a jab?
Yeah, the most important punch in boxing.
Why do you think he never developed a jab? Go ahead.
Why didn't he develop a jab? I mean, again, it's the same thing. It's like, why Conor McGregor doesn't have great, submission skills. It's like what got you to the dance is what people rely on. So I mean, if you're knocking everyone
No, this
out,
is
I mean,
boxing.
what are you
Come on,
gonna
a
spend your
jab.
time-
I mean, wait, hold on. You're talking about his physicality, his physical attributes. You said, okay, he has skinny legs. You don't expect him to start throwing a lot of uppercuts and bending down. Okay, but a jab, based on his size, I mean, he could actually develop a pretty good jab. And it's a basic punch in boxing. You telling me now the McGregor comparison? I don't really buy it because in MMA there's so many skills that you can develop, the martial arts, that you can't really become good at everything, right? Here we're just talking about boxing, and if you don't have a jab in boxing, I mean, I don't know why you even got into the sport. You know what I mean? And okay, he didn't develop a jab. Fair enough. Did he develop something else during those years?
I mean, he developed a 42-0 record, and he defended his title 10 times.
And he also developed a bad attitude. Yeah. So
Yeah, caller. Look, listen. I understand what you're trying to say because we do have to look at the issue both ways. But I think you're the first guy I've ever heard to claim that height was a disadvantage. I mean, usually people want to be fucking 6'7" tall.
Yeah.
I mean, look at the recognize. He's always fantasized. Every time he's on the show, he's adding a new inch to his fucking height.
He's 6'6"
But
now.
yeah, I think he's about to be a Nephilim in about a year. But look, listen, Wilder at
I'm
the
really
end of
5 feet. I tell people I'm 6'8".
yeah, you're fucking Calderon. What was his name again? Felix Calderon. No, fuck that. Anyway, yeah, but listen, caller, look, Deontay Wilder has no one to, Butcher made a great point. Look, okay, he's tall. He's not going to be an inside fighter, but a jab then. At least a jab. Or at least stop
he's not just
leaning.
tall, guys.
Steep, stop.
Saying he's tall, like he's a normal.
Taller,
He's a freakishly tall with freakishly long
Oh my
arms.
god.
So
Fury's
Klitschko-
big as well. Fury's big as well. And look at how he boxes. Look at Klitschko. Look at Lennox Lewis, 6'5". I mean, but Wilder just couldn't manage.
He has a family full of these guys. I mean, he grew up fighting his brothers and
But
stuff. I mean, they're
caller,
all
you're
there.
sorry
So,
to
I mean,
interrupt, but you're missing
you see
caller.
their
Sorry to interrupt, but you're missing the point again. You can get sparring partners. So you're telling me that if Fury wouldn't have had brothers, he would never become as good as he is. He can't get sparring partners.
Did Lennox Lewis have giant brothers as well?
I don't think he's become as good.
Yeah, caller, come on.
Hey, go by the callers' criteria. Fucking Donny Osmond should be a champion. Get out of here.
Who the fuck's Donny Osmond? No, but look, caller, I understand what you're saying, man, but I think you're off on this one.
Donny Osmond is not 6 feet tall. Let's put it that way.
Oh, you telling me, BDO, you don't know who Donny Osmond is?
Is he one of the Osmond brothers? From the Osmonds from the 1970s?
Yeah, well, there you go. You do know who they are then.
Okay.
How many 6'7" champions have there been? Just take that into consideration. I mean, most of the guys who look at
How many 6'1"
6'4",
or 6'2" welterweights have you ever met besides Tommy Hearns? It didn't stop him from being great.
Hey, look at
Tommy
fucking
Hearns
Chris.
is
Look at Chris Bird. All the limitations he had as a heavyweight, and look at what he was able to achieve. So we're gonna use Wilder's height advantage as a disadvantage, as an excuse of why he. I mean, nah, I'm not. Caller, I can't agree with you on this one, man.
The only guy.
Oh, mate, it's gone.
Hey,
I tell you what, Wilder should
Hold on.
use that one when. Wilder should use that excuse next time. A dreadful excuse, won't it? Come on.
Hold on. I want to hear what the caller says. Go ahead, caller. What'd you say?
I was just saying, like his height is. You guys have to. It's a different thing. You can't just compare him to other guys. I mean, 6'7" is a crazy thing, and the only guy he's lost to is a guy who's as big as him and much better. So for the most part, Deontay has done everything he's had to do. If he would have taken this loss in a better way, then yes, I mean, I think he'd get a little bit more credit. But at the same time, look at his background, look at his history. So he's dealt with a lot. You know, he's self-destructive. He's searching for answers because when you're the top dog for 12 years, you defend your title 10 times. You don't know how to lose. You don't know how to lose gracefully. It's tough. So I just want to say that. But I love the
caller.
show.
He wasn't the top dog, by the way. I don't know where you got that from. He was the WBC champion, and there's 3 more belts in that division. In every division.
The caller said about it being tough and hard and everything else. Welcome to professional boxing. You think this is easy? There's a reason us lot are not doing it. Because who wants to get up in the morning, run 6 miles, and then get punched in the face by the end of the day hundreds of times? Nobody. You got to be quite loopy in the fucking head to be a fighter. Because who'd want to put themselves through that? So look, this is the business he chose to be in. You know, this is the hurt business. You're sitting there crying because he's a bit too tall for everyone else, and it's very difficult to do these. Oh, get out of here, man! Put the phone down.
Well, he already hung up, but hold on, real quick. He already hung up.
I'm 6'7". Wow.
Look, the guy. Hold on. Can I just say something real quick, Butcher? Yeah, the guy hung up, but thank you for calling in, man. I understand where you're trying to go with this caller, but I disagree. Just like most everybody here, you can't use a guy's physical advantages as an actual disadvantage.
BDA,
go ahead.
I got a confession to make. I'm suffering from depression because I'm 6'9".
Yeah, I'm suffering from depression because I got a big dick. That's a disadvantage. All right, go ahead, Butch.
When I went to the doctor, they said, "Damn, that thing is so big."
It's ridiculous.
I mean, I've never ever, in all my years being alive, I've never ever heard the excuse that the guy lost a fight because he was too big. I mean, what fucking... Look.
No, he made it seem as if Wilder was fighting with all these disadvantages throughout his whole career.
If anything, right? Brazil's bigger than him. Brazil's just the same size as him. Fury's bigger. He's fought some big guys. He fought Audley Harrison's about 6'4", 6'5". He's fought a lot of big guys. So look, this is what
there's no excuses to it, right? For the baddest man on the planet. If you can't take it, if you're not that guy, somebody else would be replacing you. Because that spot's only reserved for 1 or 2 or 3 of the greatest fighters on the planet. So there's no excuses for that guy.
When did you ever hear Mike Tyson, like 5'9" Mike, yeah, talk about his size being the reason he lost a fight? Even though that was the case in some cases, never heard it once. This guy was 5'9", having to fight monsters. Every fight, big guys, strong guys, a lot bigger than him. You have to adapt. This heavyweight division. You're gonna have to come against a star that's not going to suit you. I mean, this is what I don't like. Everything's got to be on a plate for these fighters. They've got to have someone in there that's going to walk forward with their chin in the air. You know, that's not going to bring too much to the table. It's all about. Canelo gets a lot of stick, but he's been in there with loads of guys that don't suit him, especially when he was fighting Lara and Trout. There were guys that he just didn't have the footwork to be fighting back then, but he still fought them. Wilder, man, there's no excuses. You have to fight all comers in this sport of boxing. It's like any other sport. It's like the other day, the Kansas City Chiefs can't say, "Well, we're not playing the Buccaneers this year. We're not going to do that."
Well, yeah,
they
that's
can't do that. It's a Super Bowl fight. They have to play the best to be the best, and that's what fighters should have to do. Fighters shouldn't have any say, or promoter, or their managers. I'll tell you who should be picking the fights. An organisation. There needs to be a board that runs boxing like FIFA does football, where they call the shots, they decide who's in the rankings and who fights who, and then it's up to the promoters to sort the money out. That's where I'd be.
And by the way, the caller saying that Wilder didn't need to improve because he was knocking all these guys out. Well, who was he knocking out? Because as soon as he stepped up with tough competition like Fury, he got destroyed. And a good boxer, a smart boxer, I'll tell you, he will watch his own fights and look for mistakes. And you mean to tell me like Wilder never sat down and watched his own fights and never even if he didn't he realize that he's completely off balance? He looks like an amateur boxer. That's his fault. So what is this thing?
Yeah, at the end of the day, you're right. It is his fault.
Like basically, the caller was saying that Wilder was a victim.
I kind of get that.
Fight.
Yeah, I kind of get that vibe, but I know. Listen, all I can do is disagree with him. And but look, it's people don't be afraid of if we disagree with you or by the animals in the chat. Just call in, give your opinion. At the end of the day, this is a forum for you fellas to call in or to stay in the chat or on the StreamYard and give us your opinions. Because
hey,
hold on, his question made me think. It required thinking. I hadn't considered whether maybe height could be a disadvantage. So good on him for bringing up that point in any event. Go ahead, Reganis.
A little food for thought. What do you do when you're the most handsomest guy in the world? The disadvantage you're in? Like, I'm considered one of the most handsome guys in the whole world. People don't know the struggles I go through.
That's right. Yeah, you got to be hit on all the time by women. Yeah, Gonzalo knows. Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, let's go to, because the last two phone calls before the phone lines close automatically here because we're at the 2-hour mark. Let's go to 314 and 323. Stay on the line as well. We're going to get to you. 314, you're on the air. 314, what's on your mind? Ooh, shit, hold on a second. All right, go ahead, 314. 314, you're on the air. Going once, going twice. Ah, shit, hung up on him at the. All right. 323, you're on the air. 323, what's on your mind?
Can you guys hear me?
Absolutely, man. What's on your mind?
I was just trying to figure out, like, where did all the, like, Deontay Wilder hate come from? I'm really trying to understand it because it's
Deontay himself.
Hold on. Let him finish a question. I think he had something else to say. Go ahead, caller.
Oh, I'm sorry. If it's because he's making excuses for losing, obviously it's his first time losing. Don't most boxers, when they lose, they have some type of excuse? Like Pacquiao, when he lost to Mayweather, I'm not saying that was his first time losing, but didn't he have a shoulder excuse? Didn't Lomachenko
Yes, he did.
have literally just had an excuse about why he lost to Teofimo?
Well, can I ask you this one?
Can I say something? Can I say something? Poison. Just saying the word poisoned. He was poisoned.
Yeah. I don't remember Manny and Loma accusing their trainer of spiting their drink, accusing the entrance outfit to be too heavy, accusing Tyson Fury of having fucking snooker balls in his
when it comes
boxing
to
gloves.
Tyson Fury,
Come on,
he's
man.
TBE. He's TBE when it comes to excuses.
Look, I think we can all handle an excuse when it comes to a bad. They can blame the ref, the judges, blame. I don't mind that, but when you start blaming the stuff that Wilder's blamed, I mean, look how he threw Breland under the bus. I mean, dreadful human being to do that to a man that's been there from day one.
Lomachenko literally, I'm sorry, but Lomachenko literally, didn't he say something about the ref or like something was like, or the judges?
He threw the judges under the bus, which I agree.
Hold on. Are you comparing what Lomachenko and Pacquiao said?
No,
caller. Are you comparing? Okay.
Understand where I was trying to get to that where all the hate for the Wilder, like and people would say the Wilder even before he lost, and even aside from
hate is a strong word.
Hold on. Let him finish. Hold on. Let him finish. Please, go ahead, caller.
And aside from Deontay Wilder, the hate and everything, as far as like his fundamentals when it comes to boxing, I do agree. Like he should have had fundamentals, and at the same time, it was Mark Breland as a trainer. You're supposed to get this guy in order. If you can't control him or you can't get him to do the basic things, then why didn't he leave? Like, if you're not being respected as a trainer, then you should have left. I'm not faulting
Why?
him, or I'm not, I'm
But the
not
thing,
saying
caller,
Hold on,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
caller. I'm not sure if you, caller. I'm not sure if you have children or not. But if you do, and when they grow up, you're going to realise quick that you can't tell other adults what to do. They have to want to listen. Like, listen, look all these girls that are going around causing havoc, being little slappers and just not being classy women, just causing mayhem. But these parents have tried to get these girls in their homes and acting like normal girls should, but no. Sometimes you can tell people to you blue in the face. If they're not going to listen, you just have to let them get on with it. And
Listen,
that's
when you have a young adult, they're gonna make their own choices in life, right? But my oldest son is only 18 years. He's only 18 years younger than me. When he was 17, and I was 35, where I could still kick his ass at that time, I still couldn't tell him what to do, because to physically force my son to do something at the age of 17 would require a lot of energy. Would have required a lot of energy. You cannot make a man do what you want them to do. And
listen, I can't. Hold on. Let the caller respond. Let the caller respond. Go ahead, caller.
But we're comparing being a parent to being a trainer. As a parent, I have a daughter. No. Just hear me out for a second. As a parent, I'm gonna have to parent no matter what. As a trainer, he could have left if he felt any type of way. Obviously, the way that he was saying, Wilder's career is done. He'll never beat Tyson Fury. Obviously, you might have felt that before. So why not leave? Why are you training somebody who's untrainable? And number one, who you think is untrainable, he's untrainable. So why are you there?
Well, you know what? It's a good. Can I say? Hold on, fellas. I wanna take this one, please. Because look, listen. At the end of the day, you'd have to ask Mark Breland that, because we can't Tyson Fury. That's number one. Number two, as it pertains to why Wilder is hated. Have you been following his career since 2012 thereabouts?
Since 2012? No, I wouldn't say since 2012.
Okay, well, let me. I want to tell you something. Deontay Wilder has been a very outspoken and brash fella. Okay, he got into a sparring session with an undersized, possibly.
I'm sorry. You guys broke up. I really couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay, he got into a bit of an altercation. A few altercations outside the ring, including one where he was threatening Dominic Brazil, in front of his wife and children, which really was out of line a little bit. He was also accused of choking a woman, which, that I'm not sure if that really happened or not. Strange things happen. People accuse celebrities of doing things that never happened. So, Then he said that he wanted to be impregnated. Then he cried racism about why he wasn't famous, or as famous as he believed he should have been. Then he said multiple times he wanted to kill somebody. His fans also, for better or for worse, whatever, they made people dislike him. So you can start seeing, and now he came out with a bunch of outlandish excuses, throwing his former trainer under the bus, and then when his trainer finally replies, Wilder acts like the victim, like, I don't know why he would say some of the things he's saying. Now, well, he threw him under the bus. I mean, you understand a little bit why Wilder's actions and his words have attracted a little bit of dislike?
Can you understand?
BDA, quickly though, you made a great point, BDA. The problem is Wilder; they're all scared of Wilder. You know Wilder. I've never been around Wilder, but I know this is a guy that could lose his temper and he flies off the handle, and everyone's getting a fucking slap. He's one of them sort of guys that you just have tiptoeing around. And look how Mark Breland, he just looks scared of Wilder. He's an old man, isn't he? But look, why should Mark Breland leave his job when he's getting easy buddy to sit there and watch this guy fucking make a clown of himself?
Caller,
I don't know. I would, if I was a fighter, and the trainer actually felt that type of way, I actually wouldn't want.
Did we lose the caller?
And as far as I'm sorry. As far as everything that happened outside the ring with Wilder, I mean, Mike Tyson got accused of domestic violence with Robin Givens. I mean, Mike Tyson's been on record saying he wants to eat your children. Like, I'm literally just trying to understand it. Like,
Well, okay. Let
I
me.
don't never. I never see any Mike Tyson hate. Obviously, his career is over.
Whoa,
and
whoa,
done,
whoa. Okay, but
No, you
caller,
wasn't
caller,
around
hold on,
back then.
caller,
You
hold
wasn't
on,
around back then.
hold on, real quick, because I want to let Butcher
I
ask
did a lot
something
of
too. But caller, Mike Tyson got a lot of hate when he made those
Hell
comments
yeah.
back in the 90s. Now he's beloved because he did a 180 and he's like the lovable former bully that everybody seems to like. But back in the day, he fucking he was hated by what he was saying. In fact, the media was lambasting him at every turn because of his comments. But okay, Butcher, you wanted to ask a question? Go ahead, man. Butcher.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a long time ago,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Fuck, what was my question?
Can I say something
No, I'm
quickly?
sorry. You guys
We
are.
Listen.
hate
It's
Wilder,
like the
but
service
okay,
is
listen,
really bad. I
caller.
think you guys
First
are
of all,
breaking up. Like I'm only hearing increments of what you're saying.
Ah,
oh,
shit.
he's not hearing the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
can
right.
can you hear caller? Mike Tyson was
Yeah.
not. Mike Tyson had a lot of haters back in his heyday. Okay, there were a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's a hype job. He's fighting nothing but bums, et cetera, et cetera." That was going on back then. Just that we didn't have social media where you could see that, all the time.
Exactly.
But it did happen. People called
You
him
know
an
what?
animal.
Yeah, I can see that.
People said that he was he was like a caged animal that's on the loose. I mean, that's pretty fucked up to say that about another human being. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
So
people, you could say that you could say that they set him up for a rape charge. You could
yeah,
say that.
that's another thing too. I mean, the girl said she went up there, she had sex with him, he just wouldn't stop. What does that tell you? We don't. How do I know that's true? How do I know that's true?
Exactly. Unless
How
she was a
about
fly on
Tyson?
the wall.
What if Tyson just after he was finished, he just said, "Look, get lost."
Right.
That pissed
But,
her off.
but,
Could you name
but
another boxer besides Mike Tyson? Was there another boxer that acted like that and was popular?
Well, this is the thing. This is why Mike didn't get the thing. Is Deontay's a lot of Deontay's hate has come from the excuses because I didn't really see a lot of hate to it. I thought he was a bit of a dickhead, but I didn't really hate the guy. Not many people did it. I think it's since the Fury defeat, his fans and him have actually just poisoned
They've
the boxing
digressed.
community. They poisoned the boxing community, and it's become
Honestly,
an intolerable place to be.
a lot
Look,
of
there's a
Deontay
reason
Wilder.
why you don't see me a lot anymore because I lose the will to live when I'm talking to these chumps. At the end of the day, look, I've got eyes. They work. That's enough for me. I don't need some clown from fucking say Florida or something telling me about some conspiracy that didn't happen. And I'm a retard because I don't see it. Come on, man. I mean, look, it's just really tired me. It really
Florida's a
has.
beautiful
I
place.
get why we're doing this show today. I get it. I do. But it's just Deontay Wilder. Like I said, I didn't have any energy earlier to even come on here and talk about it. I had to get a split. I had to make a cup of tea, a bit of toast, and have a roll of joint, and I felt all right then. But I lost the will to live just talking about it.
Don't forget that.
Wait,
Don't forget that
hold on.
girl.
I want to hear the caller. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm. You guys, it's just really bad service. Even right now, it was just breaking up a lot. But I was actually saying, I actually started
hear it fine.
noticing a lot of Deontay Wilder hate. Yeah, it might be my phone, but I seen a lot of that hate even come from it. Kind of I don't want to say stemmed, but a lot of it even came from when Deontay Wilder was actually being mentioned with AJ a few years ago. Then all of a sudden, all of this hate, oh, he doesn't deserve this. That's kind of where it started from. I felt like they was hating him even before he lost. Even before he lost, even before all of the excuses, it was a bunch of hate for Deontay Wilder. Oh, he can't box, he can't do this. Another thing, too, if he can't box and he can't do this, but he defended his title 10 times and he doesn't run, he doesn't do jump rope, he doesn't have a jab, I mean, you have to honestly give him more credit. And he actually beat Luis Ortiz. And a lot of people say, oh, what has Luis Ortiz done? But, I mean, still to this day, nobody's really jumping up to even fight Luis Ortiz. And aside from...
All right, now, hold on.
Hold on.
Sue, hold on.
Aside from one more thing. Aside from Tyson Fury and maybe AJ, who else is really going to beat Wilder? Even with all of his, lack of boxing skills.
Butcher, go ahead, and then I want to say something. Yeah.
All right, man. Listen, do you think Lomachenko got a lot of love from everybody?
You said, do I see what?
Well, not me. I told Lomachenko to
Lomachenko.
shut the fuck up. You lost. Simple. Look, it's
All right, but hold on. Let the
it's not.
caller.
I don't
Stu,
have
can we
double
let
Hold on,
the
standards.
caller?
hold on, hold on. I want to interrogate this guy because
Yeah, but you're not going to win this one. But he's not going to change his mind, bro.
No, but it's not about
Telling
changing
you.
his mind. It's about
I'm
discussion.
not.
The
No,
topic.
no. I'm not trying to. It's not about winning or anything.
Exactly.
I just wanted clarity. From
Yeah.
other people. Obviously.
well,
Go ahead.
okay. So your main question is basically why do we like you feel that there's a lot of hate for Deontay Wilder? Now, Mr. BDA,
Yeah,
the other guy
it's
on
a
this show,
bunch of
he
hate.
just gave you a long. He gave you a long list of reasons of why people may dislike Deontay Wilder. Now, do you disagree with that list? No, I don't know what you said. Your
No,
answer
I
was
couldn't. No.
your
Of
reply.
course
Your
not.
reply was, "Well, look at Mike Tyson." Now, how like what does that mean? We just gave you a list of reasons as to why we may dislike Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, but
Do
you
you
didn't.
want
You
to
lot didn't even mention. The problem is, Butcher, you lot didn't even mention excuses. You didn't have to. That's what I'm saying. Without the excuses, look at the list.
True. Exactly.
Right.
So,
Well,
caller,
I
can
can
you
see that.
understand why
I can
some people?
definitely see
Let's
that.
just caller. Could you understand why some people dislike Deontay Wilder? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course. I can see. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, when you're mentioning those things for sure.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
by the way,
So
yeah,
that's
people did,
that answers your question.
and people did dislike. A lot of people started criticizing Lomachenko for
Me
him
too.
blaming
I
the
did.
judges and all that. Except he stopped short of saying he was poisoned or that his trainer fucked him over or whatever. So I
Exactly.
guess that's where the buck
Yeah,
stops.
I don't. Yeah, as far as I don't. Obviously, I don't know anything. I'm not Deontay Wilder. I don't know how he felt. I don't know why he would think that. Obviously his trainer would be poisoning him and everything. But everybody obviously he probably can't deal with defeat. I mean, he's not used to losing. So I mean, who
Yeah.
knows why he even brought the the whole
Listen.
the spiked water and all that stuff up. I have no idea what that. I'm not. And again, I'm not defending the excuses or anything that he has. I was just trying to get clarity on why I feel like it's just a lot of Deontay Wilder hate. I feel like it's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And even
Look,
even
caller,
with the
can I
whole
just
Lomachenko
caller?
thing, like
Can
it's
I just
not at
quickly
the
say one
level
thing to you?
that people hate
Right, one
Wilder.
thing to you
Like
about this
it's
situation,
insane.
caller. Right, look at it like this: if Wilder actually believed that Fury, right, had tampered with his gloves and done all these sort of things, Breland had spiked him, Bayliss was against him. Everyone, if he honestly believed this, then why would he keep JD's the man that was in the changing rooms watching Fury get his gloves wrapped, his hands wrapped, and his gloves put on? So if he's there and he hasn't spotted it, then that's a sackable offence. If this is the case, he knows it's not true. That's why Deas is there. Why hasn't Deas seen Breland spiking the drink? What has Deas? Deas has not prevented Wilder from going through any of these things, really, has he? He just sat there and watched. Yet he's still there because Wilder would have sacked him if he believed the glove theory. He's from one excuse to the next. This is a man that's a compulsive liar, right? And what he's saying, he knows is not true, but he has to roll with it to keep these fucking clowns happy.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I
And
think
when
there's
you,
a.
like when you say clowns happy to keep them happy, like who are you referring to?
Anyone that thinks Wilder has a point when he makes these excuses, anyone that sides with Wilder, anyone that thinks Wilder has come across as the good guy in this. Let's be anyone that thinks that. That's who I'm talking about. Whoever that is. I'm saying you, whoever it is, you're a clown.
Well, look, listen. I don't put it past anybody. Like I said in the beginning of the show, cheating goes on in boxing, man. So I'm open-minded to hear if somebody has proof that a guy cheated. I want to hear about it. But at this point, they're digging for proof or for excuses that didn't. Then like they talked about they still talk about the floppy gloves. That was in the first fight, not in the second fight. Then now in the second fight, it becomes the spike water
Now
and all
it's
that.
Irish mafia. Irish mafia was involved.
Yeah, now it's the Irish mob. I mean, what's next?
Oh, you know what? I did see something about that. Daniel Kinahan or something like that. I did see. I didn't really feed into it, but I seen something about it.
Yeah, so this is never gonna stop. They're gonna keep digging. They're gonna find out that Tyson Fury's great uncle or something used to work for was involved in the Inquisition back in the 1500s or whatever, 1400s, whatever that was. So I mean, it's never gonna stop. But anyway, listen, caller, we gotta go. Thank you for your call. Thank you for the food for thought. It made us think, and we always have to look at both sides of the issue. So thanks for the call, man, and call back next time. All right, man.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. You guys have a good.
All right. Oh, shit. Hold on. All right. Thank you for your comment. So yeah, fellas, listen, we're gonna cut this one at the end here. We're gonna end it. We're at the 2-hour mark, 2.5 hours. That's the sweet spot right there. But like Stu said, man, look, was I really looking forward to talk about this? No, but it just seems like every time something new happens, it's just we gotta discuss it.
He's a comedy act, bro. I mean, it's like watching Benny Hill, isn't he? I mean, let's be real. This is why I just plead for anyone to look at it like this. When Wilder keeps coming out of an excuse and he's blaming everyone but himself, right? If half of these were true, then why has Deas, the only man that has got away with it? He's never said anything about Deas. Deas seems to be business as usual. I mean, look, this guy is a dreadful, terrible, useless coach, and he should be nowhere near a world champion. He's the problem, not Breland. But the thing is, Wilder knows that these are all excuses. Deep down, he knows, and that's why I'm pleading with you guys to just see through it. Because if he thought what he was saying was true, then Deas would be sacked as well.
Exactly, because you could lie to people, but you can't lie to yourself, right? Like that's the one person you cannot lie to. He knows that he's full of shit. And then, to the caller that called in, and he was a good caller. I dislike what Wilder has to say. I find him to be. I think there's a good side of him, but I also think that he's very egotistical, and that makes him not trustworthy. I think he's a dirty motherfucker. That's what I think.
And I think a lot of people also hate Wilder because of his fans. Now
That's
say,
like,
what does that have to do with it? Like, listen, we live in the internet age. Everybody's connected to the internet,
exactly.
Media, on YouTube. So it's inevitable that some people are gonna read what Wilder fans are saying, or are gonna listen to these LDPC channels.
You know what it is, Bucho, too? We've talked about this. I've said this plenty of times. They're not trying. You know what got these LDB or whatever you want to call it, Wilder fans, going crazy. It's not about convincing themselves. They already did that. They're upset about people like us that don't agree with them because they can't convince us. They know that they can't undo what we saw. Look, I don't care what happens. Wilder on February 22nd, 2020 got his ass fucking destroyed like I thought could possibly happen since I've watched him box. Right? Since I've been watching him, I said, listen, that's an ass whipping waiting to happen, and it's going to be ugly. And that's what happened. So they can't convince us. They know that when they be like, when they start chimping out, Wilder's the greatest fighter ever. He's the greatest fighter ever. We just looking at them with a smirk. It's like, really? He's the greatest fighter ever?
Yeah.
Like, get out of here.
We were thinking this was going to happen to Wilder, even without any of these excuses or conspiracies. So,
and you know what?
Forget the conspiracies, forget the excuses. This guy is just not good enough. That's just it. He never will be. If you think he's going to come back a new man, then not what planet you're on. This guy's going to get worse because he's mentally shot to pieces. That aura of being unstoppable and the baddest man on the planet, knocking everyone out. It's over. The last time anyone saw this guy fight, he was all over the place, weren't he? He's wobbling around like a fucking Jackie Wilson in there, man. Get out of here, man.
Jackie Wilson. No, but you know what? I wanted to add something too as well, real quick before we go. To what Recognize said, like, look, it's true. There's good to Wilder too. Nobody's completely evil or completely
of course not.
Good. And I'm not saying Wilder is evil because like Recognize said. Most people don't hate Wilder. They just dislike a lot of what he says. Now, when it comes to Wilder, I've seen him be an affable character. He can be a warm personality when he wants to with the fans and the press conferences. But he's also a guy that says a lot of dumb shit and who does a lot of dumb shit too. I mean, look, he's a professional prize fighter. like Stu said also, you got to be a little bit crazy to become a professional fighter. But at the end of the day, a lot of what Wilder did and said rubbed people the wrong way. And you can't really, it's not an enigma as to why people dislike him. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. By the way, shout out to Savior Sammy for his contribution. A while back, he just put an emoji there of an angel. Shout out to Wesley M. Thank you for your call, Wesley M, and for your contribution. And he says fist bump. And shout out to Savior Sammy again, just contributed and no message, but we always appreciate
Savior Sammy.
Savior Sammy.
Savior Sammy, gotcha.
Yeah.
Savior Sammy.
I wonder who that is.
When you're the most handsome guy in the world, you're kind of like the Dos Equis man. You say, "Stay thirsty, my friends."
Hey, by the way, listen. Okay, so we did this episode about the Wilder shenanigans. This Saturday, we're gonna have a jam-packed boxing Saturday. It's gonna be
fighting again.
We got Josh Warrington against a Mexican who's pretty tough. He doesn't have any good wins, but the guy I've seen him fight, he's tough. Then we got what's his name, Joe Smith versus Vlasov on ESPN.
Yes.
And
right.
on over at the Zone, we got Jojo Diaz taking on a guy's whose name I'm not even gonna try to pronounce, but he's a good one of those Eastern Europeans who has less than 10 fights, but he's good, man. He's already beaten about 2-3 decent guys. So watch out for that Saturday, man. We're gonna do another episode just to talk about those fights, but we had to get this Wilder thing out of the way.
Yeah, it'd be nice to actually talk about some fresh topics, some new fights coming up. I mean, look, there's not been a lot to talk about recently, has there? So it looks like Tyson Fury and AJ is very close to being made. I'm hearing days away. So hopefully that's going to give us something to talk about, because this Wilder topic, I mean, I know we have to do it. I get it. We're a boxing show, but this guy, I hate talking about this guy until he starts getting back in the ring and doing the business. I just don't want to talk about him anymore.
Well, Stu, you're a real trooper to have shown up on the show, even though you had stomach issues. And geez, please mute your mic, man. I gotta tell you, if you're in the bathroom. But yeah, man. I mean, look, we got it out of the way. And like as always, you guys had some excellent points to make. I didn't even have to do much. As always, you guys did all the heavy lifting. And good callers too. Listen, for the callers out there, I know people in the chat are going to give you a hard time, but don't let it get to you. It's just if people shit on you, that's because they like you. They shit on us all the time.
Right. Hey, I must admit, I think we have quite good callers. Some of our callers are quite knowledgeable guys, man. I mean, we've obviously got our gobshites like Brotherhood and them sort of people. And and the snitch, I forgot his name, but we've got that.
Oh, you talking about? Yeah, I was going at Stu. I was going at Slugger Sam. He was on Punch Drunk. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Dude, I went at him. I went straight for him. I acted like there was nobody else on the panel, just him.
Oh, were you on the panel over at Punch Drunk?
Yeah, I've always listened to Punch Drunk. Like, ever since I think you put me onto him a couple of months ago. I think his channel is cool. It's a different vibe. Mm-hmm. So I said, let me get on because Slugger Sam was just talking so much shit.
What did you tell him?
I said, I call him a snitch, a bum, you're a rat. I like, if you've never been to New York, if you come to New York, I'm gonna break your face. But give Slugger Sam some credit because he hangs in there. It doesn't bother him. He's like, I'll tell you what, I'll go to Queensbridge and meet you right there.
Yeah, I like Slugger.
I had him nearly topping himself when I called him a snitch.
I like Slugger Sam, but sometimes Slugger, if I can give you some advice, sometimes you let the joke linger on too long. You gotta know when to cut it off, man. It's all about timing and precision. So real Sam, get some good material, but you just gotta know how to pace yourself.
I was calling him Sluggish Sam. Sluggish Sam.
With a punch.
Shout out to the real Sam. That's Sluggers. Oh, how many accounts does this guy have? But anyway,
how many accounts do you have, man?
Yeah, he's donating with the super chat. He says, "I own you, recognize you're a fraud, bro."
Let's go. Come to Queensbridge, like you said you were gonna come to them.
Yeah, man. Anyway, listen, that's Slugger Sam. Slugger again. Thank you for your contribution, man. And real good show.
Know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, we know exactly what we're talking about.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
All right, hold on. Stop this. All right, listen.
What the fuck is that? Is that recognized?
Let me
Yeah,
tell you
that's-
something.
Wait,
If
where's
that's a
Shawn?
white guy, I would kill him. Like seriously.
Oh, come on, don't say that, man. Don't say that. What's the matter with you?
Hey, where's Shawn Michaels today?
Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah, Revolution.
Oh,
He was talking about, I already knew he was talking about Revolution.
Where's the Heartbreak Kid Revolution? Huh?
You
Hey,
should
he
play
actually-
the Bret Hart song when he
The
comes in.
sexy boy, sexy boy.
He
I can
was
tell you
showing
right
us.
now. I can tell you right now, he's wrestling. You know, he's like right now, he's like fucking wrestling with sweaty men. That's what he's doing.
Oh, jeez. No, but hey, listen, Recognize can back me up on this because he showed us footage of Revolution showed us footage of him wrestling. I actually thought it was pretty good. I mean, I haven't watched wrestling since I was a kid, but what I saw was a guy that has been practicing at it. So shout out to Revolution. Hope he keeps it up, man. And we're gonna do a special Revolution show. I haven't gotten back to him, but we are gonna do a special Revolution show where he's gonna host. And any donations that you guys, we're gonna set up a PayPal page for him, or he's gonna set it up for himself rather. So if you guys can give him a couple of contributions,
What's that going to be about though? Why is that going to be about wrestling?
well, I don't know. We're gonna talk about it with Revolution.
Well, I'm actually up for that because I actually do quite like my wrestling. I do that the WWE and that sort of wrestling.
I can talk about it.
Especially from the Attitude Era. I'm a big fan of that.
You know when I stopped watching wrestling? I'm gonna tell you how far back. When the Ultimate Warrior beat Hulk Hogan. Whatever WrestleMania that was.
I tell you, my favorite is you can't beat Ric Flair. I mean, it's the swag of the guy, man.
Woo!
Hey, by the way, shout out
You're
to
talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing.
He was the first pimp, like the first pimp that I've seen on TV. Yeah, he was like a pimp. He had like white hair, and he had like he's always tan and shit, and he like talked with swagger. He had like the little 2-step walk. He was a pimp. I know a pimp when I see one.
Yeah, the guy was
Yeah,
he had white hair since he was 15 or something, man. I mean, the guy had the hair of a 90-year-old since he was a kid. That's bizarre. But hey, shout out to the real Sam again. He contributed with the super chat. He says, "What part of Queens you from, bro? Hoville? Oh, Hoville. He's calling you a hoe. Recognize?
Ravenswood, baby. Ever come to Ravenswood? That's where you got to come through. All right.
That's
I'm
right.
not from Queensbridge. I'm not from Astoria Projects. I'm from Ravenswood.
That's right. And by the way, he donated afterwards again, and he said, Queens keep on faking it, and the Bronx keeps on making it. Oh,
Until we chin check you and make you go back home naked.
that's right. Oh, you actually did do that to a guy. You told us that was disturbing, man.
Well,
shout
no,
out-
it was a kid from Brooklyn, man. He was coming around Queens. Look, Queens was known for being not the toughest part, but we have some dangerous towns, and like where I'm from. And so
Hey,
these
Queens-
Brooklyn
Queens-
dudes were acting
Queens
big and
mafia.
bad, and everybody from that area ganged up, and they beat these guys up, man. They stripped them naked.
some gay shit right there, man.
Yeah, I thought it was a little over. Listen, I smacked them up a couple of times, but that's it. Then I stopped. It was like you ever saw the Bronx Tale?
Yeah.
When they beat those guys up in the bar, and then
Uh-huh.
when they get outside, they still getting beat up. It was one of those things.
All right. By the way, what's his name? OG Boogie just contributed with the super chat. He says, "Real Sam, Slugger Sam, Slushy Sam, be quiet before I make change of your $5 ass." All right, shout out to G Boogie for the contribution, but not to be outdone, Slugger Sam, I think he donated again, and he says, "No, he donated. Yeah, he donated with two different. No, okay, he donated. He says, OG Boogie, I already fed your sister, clown boy." And then he went on to say again, recognize you did nothing. That was your homie's family.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
Hunter Queen, like you said, he sounded like he knew the area pretty well. He was naming streets and boulevards that only somebody who's been there would know. So
Hey,
you come
just
over
watch
there,
what you. Just watch what you say around him, mate. He's wearing a wire.
Yeah, you're nothing but a rat. The whole family are nothing but rats.
Oh man,
this shit right here ain't cool, dog.
All right, listen, we're gonna go. We're gonna go before we get into another super chat war.
Yeah, until we get another. Yeah. Peace out, yo.
All right, take it easy, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Recognize
And
Stu.
remember, guys, Tom Brady's the GOAT.
Oh, Well, I don't know about that because I don't know shit about football, so I'm gonna take
Tom,
your
Tom
reference.
Brady is the GOAT, mate. And it coming from a British guy. Tom Brady is the GOAT.
Well, there
Kiss
you
the
have it.
rings.
Just
Kiss
put
the
on your
rings, you
pipe and
haters.
smoke it.
Woo!
All right.
I thought you said I was all right, Spider.
Nah, you're not alright.
Fucking rat anyway. Whole family's all rats. Would have grew up to be a rat.
Oh, is
That's
that
you,
about?
Slugger Sam.
That's about Slugger Sam. All right, listen. Shout out to you, fellas. Thank you for joining us. Really, Stu, recognize. Good talking to you, fellas. Again, it's been a while. I think it's been about yeah. All right, take it easy, fellas. Hey, second Renaissance one of these days, and there's obviously a show.
Not one of these days. Tomorrow. I want it done tomorrow. Tomorrow.
All right, we'll make it happen. We'll get my people to talk to your people. We'll get it set up. Oh, geez. OG Boogie donated the super chat, and he says, like I said, Arab money, my 20 against your 20. Who's worth more? Exactly making change of your $5 ass.
Damn.
Oh,
Boogie
fuck.
hitting him with the fire, boy.
Yeah, you can't beat G Boogie when it comes to the super chats, man.
Nah.
Shout out to G Boogie for his contribution. He's coming out with the big guns now. All right, listen. Shout out to Stu. Recognize. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Bucho, who dipped out already. Gonzalo, all the callers, everybody, fellas, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. And, you know, everybody that contributed with the super chat, and that includes Slugger Sam. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. And for your contribution, you really do keep the gravy train rolling, and you make this show possible. The Block Talk Radio is not free. Neither is putting episodes on Spreaker, so really appreciate it. Shout out to Adam UK, Uncle Burnt Apostrophe, One Foot Out the Door, GB Guthrie, Savior Sammy. Oh, but actually, hold on. Let me shout out to everybody that contributed via the super chat. I forgot to name you fellas by name. One Foot Out the Door, Recognize the Matrix, TFM Boxing, Up the Arse, Texas Bulldog, Mike Drop 64, Savior Sammy, that's Slugger Sam, Wesley M, OG Boogie, and of course Slugger Sam. Guys, thank you for joining us. Really appreciate it. Thank you for your contributions. And shout out to everybody who listened out there today. Dan Cass, PSK, James Jamieson, Jim McDonald, Hans Twister, Brian Harkin, Grievous. Shout out to Grievous. Shout out to Triple JJJ. Who else? Marcy D, Adam UK, Justin Thor, Boxing UK, Vince Vegas. Hopefully his other Vegas brother comes in here as well. Official Scorecard Boxing. Shout out to Official. Check out the Coup d'etat Boxing. Savior Sammy. Grievous, I already mentioned him. Stu was in there as well. Nicholas King. Joseph Schuster. Hope that sounds a little too close to Shyster. Claire Burrows, Harpo Marks, Nicholas King. Thank you, fellas, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Shout out to you fellas out there. Thank you for joining us. Catch you on the next one. And you have yourselves a good evening. All right, fellas? You better do that shit right now.
Every one of you.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you.
I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I kiss you on the mouth.
No, I'm not cool with that. I'm sorry.
One more time. I'm disappointed in every one of you.
I mean, I'm dealing with degenerate animals.
I'm disappointed in every one of you. Disappointed in every one of you.
All right, come on.
Honestly, I can't do it no more. I'm disappointed in every one of you. Let me tell you why.
It's gonna be all right, Nicky. Go ahead, shoot. You just killed a little fucking man.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, because you got nothing. You don't got a thing. Yeah, because you got nothing. You got nothing.
I want to get out. I want to get out of this rat hole. I want to get online. I need
BDA Boxing.